will be a star freelancer. Learn new skills. Set your goals. Increase your skills. Browse over 100 plus videos and ebooks. Jump to starfreelancer.eu.
Hello, welcome here. In the last lecture, we have increased the credit of the user when we have accepted the opportunity. In this lecture, we'll go the other way around. We will decline the opportunity, and that should refund the creator of the opportunity. Okay, so back to our code, and this should be pretty simple because we just need to go other way around. Copy this entire if statement we have here in accept opportunity. Let's go to the decline opportunity, and under update doc, let's paste it like this, and also this dispatch of the message. All right, after the commit, let's paste it here, and we are missing the dispatch here, so let's go import here dispatch from the context. Let's destructurize it, and the message will be different. Will be opportunity was declined. Okay, and here we want to decline the opportunity, and we want to change the user credit only when we are declining the opportunity with price. We don't want to do anything when it's opportunity from exchange. And in this case, we need to refund the user, right? So it will be not to the user who's made the opportunity, but it will be from user. Okay, so this will be the creator of the opportunity. So this will be not called to user ref, but it will be from user ref. And here will be opportunity dot and from user.id. You will get a reference, and here you want to update it, and you want to refund the user. Okay, so we want to increment price on the from user. So basically the person that created the opportunity. And that's it. That's basically it. Let's save it. Back here, let's refresh. Okay, let's take a look at this. And okay, I will be declining this one here from Philip user for 520. Let's take a look at the Philip user. Currently, Philip has a credit of 480, and we are going to refund the Philip user. So when we will refund the Philip user, we should have here 1,000. Let's take a look at this. I will decline the deal. Opportunity was declined. You can see nothing happened with my credit because I have declined. And actually, I have updated credit here at the real time. Okay, I have updated it here in my state. Okay, but my database shouldn't be affected. Let's refresh. I should have I have a 1040 still. Okay, so we have some issue in UI. I will show you what's wrong. But when you will go to your Firestore, you will see your Philip has 1000 back. So we are refunding the user. Our data are 100% correct in a database, but we have only updated the state after we have declined it. So that's wrong. Go back to your code. Go back to your code, and here, okay, let's take a look on the decline here and this commit. You see this commit here? This shouldn't be here because we don't want to change anything on our current user. We don't want to update our credit on the current user. So just remove this line here. It shouldn't be here when we are declining. It should be only when we are accepting because we should update the credit of our current user. Okay, now it should be correct. And in order to test it correctly, what we are going to do, we are going to cancel all of our opportunities. Okay, so let's go to your Firestore and go to opportunities and simply remove them, all of them. Delete collection. I'll just simply delete the entire collection of opportunities. Delete. I will go to the users. I will find my Bob and Philip user. I will assign to both of them 1,000 as the initial credit. So credit will be 1,000, and here will be credit 1,000. All right, update it. So it's a 1,000 here, 1,000 here. Perfect. And now go back here. When you refresh, you shouldn't have any data here any longer because you don't have any opportunities. Perfect. Go back to home and let's create some opportunities. So I'm currently logged in as a Bob user. So I'll create some opportunities for Philip. Okay, I'll go with the new Tesla car. Okay, so make a deal. One deal will be for house. Okay, no big issue. Save changes. Perfect. And one will be for cash, for money. So I will select here yes, and I will write here 520 and save changes. Perfect. I will make one more. Make a deal. I don't have enough credit for currently for 520, so I need to lower it a little bit, 500. Do I have? No. I need to go for 480. Okay, this is still 4% lower than the exchange price, but it's still allowed. I have here exactly 480 credits, so I will save changes. Opportunity was sent and make a deal, and I don't have any credit. I have just 0 credit now. When I will inspect my database, I will see, I will refresh. I should have now some opportunities created. So we made 3 opportunities, 2 for price, 1 for exchange. And my users, let's notice here, Philip user has 1,000 as we initially assigned, but the Bob should have a 0 because Bob created 2 opportunities for prices 520 and 480. Okay, now we'll go as a Philip user. So we'll log out here. We'll log in as a Philip user. So now we have some opportunities to accept or decline. So we'll go here. I will go to the opportunity profiles, and now, okay. Let's say I will accept this one here for 520. View deal. I'm accepting this from Bob. Okay, accepting. This increased my credit. I have now 1,520 as a Philip user, and the Bob should have exactly the same 0. So Bob is still 0. Philip has a 1,520. Now the other offer I don't consider it as a good offer, so I will click here View Deal, and I will write here. I will click here Decline Deal. Decline. Nothing happened with my credit, but Bob should be refunded. Then I'll go here. I see my credit is still unchanged, but the Bob credit is a 480. Okay, so I get refunded. I get back 480, and I have accepted one opportunity at the Philips, so I will get also this Tesla car. Okay, and this exchange here for house in nature, yeah, I can accept. Why not? This will not do anything with our credits. Accept is accepted, and the credit should stay unchanged. Okay. I will refresh just to see the changes, and yeah, everything is as it should be, as it was updated in our data in our application. So guys, this feature is finished. We can accept opportunities, we can decline them. The credits are handled correctly. We are checking for the correct data, and in the next lecture we can continue with the new features. So for this, see you in the next one, guys. Cheers. In the last lecture, we have finished the credit-related features. So when the opportunity is accepted, we are increasing the credit, and when the opportunity is declined, we are refunding the credit. Let's continue this lecture. Go to your home page, and let's start. Okay, so in our home page, as you see, we are displaying still the Philip Jerga, which is hard-coded information that I would like to change. And here should be the date of our exchange, when the exchange was created. So this date I would like to actually provide from our database, because when you will take a look in your exchanges in your database, we are not keeping here created at. So I would like to add created at to my exchanges. Okay. So first, let's do it like this. Let's go to our application code. And we'll be adding date. You'll see how you can add that. Actually, you already know. I am telling you this. We already know. We added in the opportunity date. So let's go to our exchange module. We'll be adding the date when we are creating the exchange here. Okay, let's scroll up here, and first let's import here timestamp, because for this we need timestamp. Okay, let's go down to create exchange function, and yeah, here we'll be adding just add property to our data. So down here, just write here data created at, write here timestamp, and from date. All right, and here will be new date like this, and it will create you date in your exchange. Okay, to verify it, please save it. We can go back to browser. And yeah, please create a new exchange. So new exchange, and let's say guitar lessons. Guitar lessons. All right, I can teach you playing guitar. All right, and yeah, get some link here. Unsplash, let's search here for guitar. Okay, so select here, let's say this image, open image in new tab, you know the drill. Just decrease the quality for Q equal 50 and width W to 1000 in your URL parameters, copy the link, get it here, price 300, country, let's say France, city Paris, and tag will be just a guitar. Okay, let's submit this. Okay, has been created. Let's go to home. We should see here guitar playing. Here it is, guitar lessons. Perfect. And let's take a look in your Firestore database. New exchange. Okay, that will be fun to look for it. All right, so we start up here. Paris, France here. And here is a created ad. Okay, 17 February. The time is matching 11:13. Yeah, I was created just a few seconds ago. And now, small assignment, guys, for you. Just create add to all of your exchanges. So go to your exchange by exchange, to all of them. Let's add here a new field. Call it created ad. And let's search here for timestamp. And simply click here date and select here any date. I'll just select here some past dates, not the future dates, of course. So currently the 17th of February. I will go to the 14th of February. And the time will be whatever time you want. 10 o'clock, let's say, add. Okay, so 14 February, 10 o'clock. I will continue and I will inspect all of my opportunities, guys, all of my exchanges, guys, and I will fast forward it. Okay, so I will not be doing it with you step by step. Just simply add, create, add to all of your exchanges. Okay, so my last create add this, and please verify that you have it on all of your data. Okay, and now you want to display it, right? So go to your code. Okay, and we will go to our exchange list, right? So exchange list.view. And let's say that we're displaying my name, which I will completely change. I will not displaying here my name, but I will be displaying here other exchange type. And here will be the date, right? So let's remove this and double curly brackets and exchange.created at. Okay, let's save it now. It will be not very nicely formatted. I will show you this, but let's see it. Okay, back to our application. You can refresh. And okay, we are not even displaying it. Okay, we are displaying it. And you can see it's very long. It's very long, and it's something called product timestamp. What you are getting here, you're getting here seconds and a nanosecond. So it's not very nicely formatted. In order to format it, we need to use one function of the Firebase. Okay, back to code. And since you're getting back object, this is the object that you are getting, which has a couple of properties. Also, there are some methods. You can call here dot to date like this, and you can transform it to the date string. You will write here to date string like this. Okay, because that's data what you are getting from a Firebase already constructed into the object, and you have provided the function to date where you can call also subsequently to date string, which will format your date to the string. Now you can save it, go back, and you can see now your date is very nicely formatted, and you can see whenever you have created this exchange. And you are displaying which type of the product and when it was created. So it's much better than display the name, because name here is not relevant at all. It's better to display what is the type of this exchange and what date has been it created. Okay, perfect. Very good progress. Let's continue in the next lecture, and we'll tackle the pagination feature, which will be very interesting, I need to tell you. Okay, so I hope to see you in the next one. In the last lecture, we have worked on the UI changes. We have changed the display of the username in our homepage, and we have replaced it with the exchange type and also exchange created at. In this lecture, we'll continue and we'll work on the pagination feature. So let's start, and let me start by saying that this will be more advanced feature, so it will require also more implementation, and it will be maybe something new for you. I will try to explain it for you as best as I can, and of course we can always console log informations or debug the data if we don't understand them. Okay, so first thing I would like to show you is how you can limit the data you are getting back. because when we will have a pagination, I don't want to display all of our data. So currently I have here 3, 6, 8 exchanges. So let's say for a beginning, I want to like display only 2 exchanges, Okay, and whenever I will click here, the next page, I would like to display plus 2 exchanges. Okay, so I will go to the next page and I will go display the another 2 exchanges. So first page would contain these 2, the second page would contain this and the Tesla car and so on. Okay, so that should be very simple to start with. Go back to your code. And all of this will be handled through our Exchange module. So go to your Exchange module. Go to your state, and I will create here a new state, which will be for a pagination, and I will specify here some data. First data will be item count, and this will be say 2. This means I would like to display only 2 items per page, 2 exchanges per page. Then I need to keep here track of the last item in a pagination. I will show you why we need it later. Last item will be null because we don't have any pagination yet. The last item is null. Then I will keep here pagination history. Okay, I will explain why we need pagination history. It will basically keep me the track of the data we already paginated before. Not all of the data, but just some of the data. I will explain you why it is important later. And also is fetching data. This will be by default false. Okay, so when we will click to paginate to the next page, this will toggle for a true until we will get the data back. When the data will get back to the pagination, the fetching will be false. Last item is the last item in the pagination. Items count is how many pages we are displaying per page. Now we will move to our get exchanges function here. And I will change here a couple of things. We are getting here already query, which is good because I will combine here a query with the limit function. Go up to your imports and we'll provide here a limit function. Okay. So with the limit function, you can limit how many data you want to retrieve back. So go back to get exchanges here in the query. Let's go back to the query and let's provide a query like this. So it's on the new line here. It's much readable for you this way. Next to it, in the query, you can chain here multiple functions. I will chain here a limit function, okay, where I'll specify how many data I would like to get back. We can say I would like to get only 2 data, or 5 exchanges, or 7 exchanges. In this case, we would like to get this from a state, right? So let's get right there state dot pagination. Actually, we need to get a state from the context. So next to the commit, let's write here state. And let's ask here for a state dot pagination and an item count, right? So state, pagination, and the item count. And that's gonna be it for this lecture, actually, guys. So we are just asking for how many data, how many data we have in the item count. We have here 2 data. Okay, so this will be replaced by 2. Where it is here. So this will be just the 2 data, but we will retrieve that back in the exchange query. When I will execute the documents, we'll get back only 2 documents. So let's save it and let's verify it. Let's go back to browser. So refresh here and you see we're getting only 2 exchanges. Perfect, so that's a very good first step to display only just subset of our data. In the next lecture, we'll continue with this. In the last lecture, we have started working on the pagination. So far, we have implemented only the limit function to get just a subset of the data. Let's continue this lecture and let's handle the button clicks. Okay, so let's start. And what we want to implement is when we click on the next, I would like to get the next 2 data. When I will click here previous, I would like to get the 2 previous data. For the beginning, I would like to just display console logs when I'm clicking on the buttons. I would like to display here I'm clicking on the next page or I'm clicking on the previous page. Let's do it. Okay, for this we need to open only our home page and the pagination page. So let's open pagination.vue and open your home page. Home page is in our pages. Okay, so pages and home page is here. Okay. Okay, in the pagination we have 2 buttons, right? So we have buttons to go to the previous page and also button to go to the next page. But actual information to retrieve the more data, I would like to get into the home page. For this, we need to create here a function that will be executed whenever we are clicking on the buttons in the pagination. Okay, so here will be function in the methods, which will be passing to the props to the pagination, and the pagination will be executing this function and passing us back the data, the information if we are clicking on the previous or the next page. Okay. Okay, so let's do it. Let's create here this method. All right, so methods like this, and we'll call it get more exchanges like this. Okay, and we'll be getting here the page which we are clicking on. Okay, so where is the console log getting more exchanges from, and here will be the page. Okay, get exchanges from next or previous. Okay, page like this. Okay, now we need to get more exchanges. We'll be passing it as a prop to the pagination. So go up here and find here your pagination, and simply pass here this prop, and we'll call it. Let's call it in the context of a pagination. We'll call this prop on next page. On next page. Okay. On next page, we'll pass here. Get more exchanges. Okay. Now we can go copy this prop. Let's go to exchange pagination and pass it here. So first we need to write here, of course, script. All right, export default, write here props. And I'll pass here on the next page, where we'll specify on next page is a prop of the type function. And it's definitely required. Required will be true. Now, whenever we are clicking on the next button, let's write here click, pass here a function, and let's execute here on next page, and pass here object with the page which will say on which page we are clicking. In this case, next. And it should be single quotes. Let's copy this. Go to your other button to go to the previous, pass it here, and here we will call here on next page, and it will be previous. Okay, and that's the entire implementation. So now when I will click on the click here on the button, or let's say on the previous button, we will execute on next page, and we'll pass here object with the page previous. Will execute our function get more exchanges. We'll get here page, and we'll display the page information here. Okay, so let's try it out. Let's save it. Back here, open your console to see it. Click here next. And on next page is not function. Okay, so I guess I have some typo. I need to refresh maybe. Let me refresh. Oh, now it's fine. Okay, I just need to refresh. You can see when now I click here on the next, I'll see it. I'll click the next, getting more exchanges from next. See? From next. Okay, when I will click on the previous, getting more exchanges from previous. Perfect. So now we can handle these two cases, and we can also determine if we should fetch pages for the next page or for the previous one. Okay, very good improvement. Let's stop it here, and let's continue in the next lecture. Hi there, welcome back here, guys. In the last lecture, we have handled the page clicks on our pagination buttons. In this lecture, I will tell you more about our pagination state data. Okay, let's start. Go to your module of the exchange where we are keeping our pagination. So let's find here our modules, so store modules and exchange, and let's see our pagination state. So maybe it's still not clear why we need a last item and a pagination history. I will give you an example. Let's say we'll have 3 exchanges per page. So let's say I will have exchange 1, exchange 2, exchange 3. This will be my first page. I will want to navigate to the next page. I will display exchange 4, exchange 5, exchange 6. I will go to navigate to the next page. Exchange 7, exchange, should be exchange 8, and exchange 9. Okay, so in terms of pages, this is my first page, this is my second page, and my third page. So as I'm navigating, I'm starting on the first page. I'm displaying only 3 exchanges per page. I want to navigate to the next page. I will display the next exchange, exchange 4, exchange 5, exchange 6, the next, so on and so on. Okay, now how I'll be handling this. So whenever Whenever I will fetch the initial data, let's say this is my initial subset of data, right? So let's say we'll display 3 items per page, and that's my first page I will navigate to. In order to display the next 3 pages, I need to know the last exchange on which I have finished. This is my exchange 3. Okay, and this way, my exchange 3, in this case, in this example, will be my last item. The last item will be exchange 3. So as I will fetch my initial subset of the data, which will be 3 exchanges, I will set my last item to the exchange 3. So when I will click on the next page to fetch more data, I can tell to the Firestore this is the page I have finished on. I would like to fetch from these pages the next 3 pages. The next 3 pages from exchange 3 are exchange 4, exchange 5, and exchange 6. That's why I need to always keep the track of the last item I fetched, so I know where I should start to fetch the next items. Okay, but why we need pagination history? Pagination history will be the first item I'll be fetching. So if I will fetch the first subset of the data, exchange 1, exchange 2, exchange 3, into that pagination history, I'll push exchange 1. Okay? So in the pagination history, I will have, in this case, a exchange 1, right? It will be array of the exchanges. Okay, but I will have exchange 1, and my last item will be exchange 3 in this case, right? So my last item is exchange 3. When I want to fetch more data, I will fetch the next subset of the data. So I will say, fetch me the next 3 pages from exchange 3. I will fetch exchange 4, exchange 5, exchange 6. Exchange 6, I will set now to the last item. So exchange 6 will be the last item. All right, and exchange 4, I will push into my pagination history. This will be exchange 4. Okay, so I will have exchange 1, exchange 4 into pagination history. Now I will ask for the next 3 pages, start me from the last item and exchange 6, fetch me the 3 next data. I will start here. Okay, so this will fetch me exchange 7, exchange 8, exchange 9. Again, I will set the first item from this into the pagination history, exchange 7. All right, and exchange 9 will be my last item. So now, when I want to go back in the page, I will get last item from my pagination history. Actually, not the last item in the pagination history, but the before the last item in the pagination history, which was exchange 4. All right, so if I want to go from this page 3 back to the page 2, I display this data here. I will go simply to this here, exchange 4. All right, in the pagination history. And I will display the next 3 data from it. So from exchange 4 and this data here. Okay. Okay, guys. So that's how I will keep the track of my data. So that's why I need to keep the track of my pagination history, so I know from which starting point I should start when I'm navigating back. And the last item I need in order to know where I should go the next in the pagination. Okay, so I'll be also explaining this as we will go through these concepts, but just to have an initial idea in your mind for this. So now we already understand a little bit. We can set here pagination history and the last item when we fetch our initial data, when we get our exchanges. Okay, so let's create here 2 new functions. I don't know if I have a debugger here. Okay, and let's set here new functions as set last item. And the new mutation will be set pagination history. Set pagination history. Okay, in a set last item, we get the state first, and the item in the pagination history will get the same state and the item. In the last item, just simply get the state, pagination, and the last item and set it to the item. In the pagination, in the history, we want to keep the track of all of the items. So state dot pagination history dot push item, like this. Okay, and now up here, get exchanges, commit. We'll commit here, so commit, and we'll commit here our last item. Okay, so that will set last item. And your last item will be actual not exchange data, will be the snapshot data, because the Firebase needs to get a snapshot in order to get the next page or next data or a previous data. So simply access here on the set last item, access here snapshot.docs, like this, and access the last item in this. So just simply write here snapshot.docs.length -1, and this will get your last item from the snapshots. Okay, similarly to commit set pagination history, so set pagination history. Again, you put a snapshot, but the first item in the array, so snapshot to the docs and the first item in the array. Okay, guys, so that's it. I'll write here debugger so you see what data we are getting here. Okay, so let's save it, go back to browser, inspect this, and let's refresh. Okay, and you can see now. We are calling here set last item, and we are setting here as a snapshot documents. You can see it's an array of 2 items, and in order to get a last item in the array, you just get the length of the documents, which is a 2 minus 1, it's a 1, and this will get you document on the index of 1, which is this item here. So this array, this item here. In my case, with this ID here. Okay, I will set this, and then from the set pagination history, I'll get the snapshot documents, and from there, I will get the first item. So this will be this item here with this ID, and I will set it to the state. Okay. Also, please verify that you have these items in a state, of course. So just simply, we can also verify it here. So let's write it to debugger, so you see that you have for sure the items in your last item and the pagination history. This needs to be done, guys. Okay. So last item. Okay, this is my ID here. This one should be correct, and my pagination history should be array with a pagination history of 1 item, which should be this item here with this ID. Of course, you have a different IDs and so on, so don't worry about that. But make sure you are adding here some data. Okay, that's gonna be it for this lecture. Now everything seems very weird right now, but don't worry, you will understand it as we'll be implementing this functionality. So guys, I hope to see you in the next lecture. Cheers. And hi there, welcome back in the new lecture. In the last one, we have stored some initial data in our pagination state, pagination history, and the last item. In this lecture, we'll continue, and we will start working on the actual pagination feature to navigate to the next page. Okay, let's start. And this will be one of the advanced features. So let's begin just above of our get exchange, and let's call here async function, and let's call it get more exchanges. Get more exchanges, like this. Comma here. What you will receive here, we will need a couple of data. I'll destructurize. We need here for sure commit and state. Okay, so let's get here commit and state. We'll get here errors for now. All right. And also we'll get here current page, because I need to know in which direction I am moving. I need to know if I'm going to the next page or if I am going to the previous page. Okay. We have this information in the home page, so we can also get it here. So we'll destructurize your page. Okay. Now get more exchanges. Go to your home page and let's dispatch it. Okay, so when we want to dispatch here, we want to dispatch it when we are clicking on the back or previous button, which is getting called when we are calling get more exchanges. So from here, let's write this $store.dispatch exchange / get more exchanges, and let's pass their page as the object like this page. Okay, so store dispatch exchange get more exchanges, and for a beginning, yeah, of course, I can display a console log, so we are sure that we are getting this data. So just write here underscore for a placeholder on a page. So we are 100% sure we are getting here data. So let's write here console log page, please. Okay, let's get back. We need to be sure that we are dispatching this action. Okay, so let's open the console. And let's click here next, previous. Perfect. That's what we want to see. Okay, now we can revert it because we need, of course, your commit and the state, and now we'll get to the complicated part, guys. Okay. First, let me create here query. Create here query data, which will be empty, because the query will be the different. When we are going to the next page, the query we want to construct to fetch the data will be different as the query we want to construct when we will go to the previous page. Okay, so first we will create a query if we are going to the next page. So page is equal to the next, so we are moving forward. Okay, so the page is equal to the next. If we are moving to the next, I want to get here query data, and I want to construct the query. Like this, we should have here a query already. So the query, we'll provide a similarly very familiar data. We will be collection group and the limit. So we can copy this and paste it here. We need to we need to fetch exchanges, right? So we need to fetch the data from the exchanges collection, and we need to limit our data for 2 items. So limit state pagination item count. But here, additionally, I would like to write here another query function, which is called start after. For this, go up here and import here, just after the limit, start after was right here, comma. Okay. Now go back to your code and chain here also start after. And you want to start after your last item. So we'll write your state pagination dot last item. Okay, I think from last lecture, this example would be good here, right? So if I will have exchanges, okay, I'll show you an example of 3 exchanges per page, right? So exchange, I'll just call it E, exchange 1, exchange 2, exchange 3, exchange 4, exchange 5, exchange 6, exchange 7, exchange 8, exchange 9. So if this is my initial data, my last item is this, in the case of a first page, right? So if you think of this as a pages, page 1, page 2, page 3. If I fetch my initial data, my last item is exchange 3. So start after, my state pagination last item would be this exchange 3. And this will fetch me 3 items after this item. So this page is here. Okay, and we are limiting them because if we have more items in the database, we want to only fetch 3 items here. Okay, so we need to limit for this item count we are storing in our state. Okay, so that's why we need this last item. Okay, so I think it's clear now. So start after the last item and write here a comma, please. Okay, this will construct me query. That's very good. And I can execute this query. So I can write here const snapshot. And I can get here a document. So you can just write here await, get documents, nothing new here, get documents, and let's provide your query here, query data in this case. This will get me a snapshot. From a snapshot, we can get the documents. What want to happen if we don't have any next page? What if we don't have any data on the page? Because at one point, we have to reach the end of the pagination, right? If we reach the end of the pagination, there are no any items left here, right? So in this case, we need to check here if snapshot to documents, docs, a second snapshot dot docs, there should be documents. Why doesn't offer me? Let me take a look at this type, document snapshot. Yeah, it should be documents there. I don't know why this doesn't offer me it here. Okay, I just write here length. Okay, is equal to 0, so we have reached the end. Just simply return from this function, and let's not do anything else. Return. Okay, otherwise we can continue and we can extract our exchanges. So the same line as we have here, exchanges to extract from a snapshot. So I can just simply copy this line from get exchanges and get your exchanges. There is nothing new here. Okay, so this will get me my exchanges. Now what we need to do here, we need to commit here exchanges and the last item. So these lines we can get from here. Okay, remember, every time we will fetch a new page of the exchanges, we always want to store the new exchanges to the state. And we would like to keep the track of the last item, which is the same as we had it before, right? It's on our snapshot documents, the last item, which we can get with the length of the snapshots -1. This will get me the last item. Plus, we would like to keep here the pagination history. But we want to keep the pagination history only when we are moving forward. Okay, so if again, check here, if the page is equal to the next, only then I would like to keep here track of my pagination history. So we'll call here set pagination history, and I will pass here my first item, so snapshot docs at the index of 0. Okay, so only if I am moving forward in the pages, so we are moving to the next page. Okay, so I'll fetch the next subset of data. I will get this to pagination history. I will move from the last item, which was this, next 3 items here. I'll set this to the pagination history, and so on and so on. Because then we'll be moving back in the pages, we'll be doing something else, you will see it. Okay, so we should already have the working solution, at least to go forward. So please save it, guys. Verify the implementation. Here it is. You can also check it in the resources of the lecture. Save it, go back to your browsers. Okay, I'll just refresh and I will click the next page and we should go to the next. Okay, nothing is happening, guys. I have error. 1 second, guys. Back here, and here it is, get doc. That should be get docs. Okay, that should be plural. That's why I didn't see the here length of documents when I was searching for this snapshot.docs.length. Yeah, now it's here. Okay, it should be plural because we want to fetch multiple data, not just only one data. That was the issue. Save it now, and now it should work. So let's refresh again, and now I click here next. I should go to the next subset of data. I'm going next, 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 until I will reach end. I'm gonna click next now. Nothing is displayed. So that's our pagination, at least the one feature of the pagination. We cannot go back yet because we need to still implement this feature, but we can go definitely next, which is kind of improvement. If you have any questions related to this functionality, of course, ask in the Q&A section. I will try to explain it to you. So let's finish here. Let's continue the next one. Cheers. In the last lecture, we get working our pagination in forward direction. In this lecture, we'll continue with small user experience improvement. Okay, let's start here. And what I would like to improve is when we are fetching the new data for a split of a second, when I'll click next, I would like to disable my buttons so I cannot spam them to click the next or the previous. So while I'm fetching the new data on the pagination, I would like to disable the buttons. Okay, go to code. And this will be handled, of course, in our Exchange module. And we're already keeping the track of is fetching data and it's false. So in our get more exchanges, let's find this function here, get more exchanges. We'll write here if statement. And we'll say here if state pagination, state.pagination, and is fetching data, if we are already fetching data, don't continue down here. Just simply return. Okay, so let's write here return. Okay, so we'll not continue, we are fetching the new data. Okay, if we are not fetching data, then commit me here state that we will fetch data. So let's write here commit set is fetching, and let's set it to the true. Okay, so if we are fetching, return and don't fetch. If is fetching is false, continue here, set fetching to true, and fetch new data. Of course, we don't have this mutation, it's set is fetching. Let's call it as actually set is fetching data. It's set is fetching data, and let's copy the name, and I'll go to mutations, and let's get it here. So set is fetching data, get here state, and is fetching, let's call it, and let's write here state pagination, and is fetching data. Let's assign here is fetching, perfect. Okay, of course we don't want to fetch data forever, so we need to somewhere stop. We need to set it to the false somewhere. Okay, and we'll set it to the false after we'll receive our data here in a snapshot. So here I will set it's okay, we can commit here is fetching is false, so here. Okay, after we get the data, we can set is fetching data to the false, so we are not fetching any data any longer. Okay, now we can go to our home page and we can get this data back here. So we can create here computed properties, computed. All right. Oh, we already have computed, my mistake. We have already computed up here. Let's call it is fetching more data, or is fetching more, is fetching more data. Yeah, is fetching more data, or is fetching data, whatever you want to call it, is fetching more data. Yeah, why not? And let's return this data from a state. So return, this will be a long line, this $and store, access state, access exchange module, access pagination, access is fetching data, right? Please verify it if you have an pagination is fetching data. If you don't make any mistakes, you should have here is fetching data. Yeah. Okay, and you know how to prevent these long lines. You can just map here state with the helper functions from the Vuex if you don't like it this way. Okay, so it's fetching data, perfect. Now is fetching this more data will be passing to our pagination. So let's go up here, specify here a new prop. Let's call it simply is fetching, and let's assign here is fetching more data. Go to your pagination component. And let's specify here this new prop. So after this one, let's write here is fetching Let's write here type boolean, and the default value will be for this false. Okay, so with no value is passed here, just is fetching is false. And now to our template, guys, we'll disable buttons. So go to button 1, button 2, over the next and previous. Let's write here disabled. Disabled, column disabled, and let's write here, this button will be disabled when we are fetching. So is fetching is true, like this. And the same here on the previous page, disabled when it's fetching. Save it, back here, let's refresh, and now it should be disabled when we are going the next and previous. Next, you can see. Okay, we can go to previous and we will stay here in the locked state forever. Okay, because previous doesn't work yet. So go only in the next page, next, disabled, next disabled, next disabled, and we're on the last page, and yeah. Okay, perfect. So that's what we want to see here. Let's continue the next lecture, and we'll handle our previous pagination. Go to the previous page. So I hope to see you there, guys. Cheers. In the last lecture, we have disabled the buttons of the pagination when we are navigating to the next page. In this lecture, we'll implement the functionality to go to the previous page. Okay, let's start. Go to your code. This will be slightly more complicated, but I will try to explain it as best I can. Let's go to our get more exchanges. As you can see here, we are handling here a case. We are creating the query when we are going to the next page, but the previous page will be different. So let's write here if, and after if, let's write here actually else. Okay, so this will be the navigation forward. In the else is the navigation backward. Okay. So first thing here, okay, let's return so it doesn't complain, or I don't know why I'm getting this issue here. Okay, just empty return so we don't see these squiggly lines here. Okay, so first thing, first I will prepare the implementation, and then I will talk about it. It will be much easier, you will see. Okay, so let's follow me. Let's write here const and the last item index. Last item index, let's access here state dot pagination history length -1. This will get you your last item index from the pagination history. Now the previous item, we can get it from a state, pagination, again, a pagination history, and the last item index -1. Okay, this will get me previous item. If I don't have any previous item, this means I'm on the beginning of the pagination, and I can commit here. Set is fetching data, and I'm not fetching data any longer, and I will want to return here. Okay, then I will, if I'm moving backwards, I need to also remove my previous data from a pagination history. So I will access here state pagination history, splice of the last item index and my item. So get it out. All right, and then I'll get here query data. Construct a new query. Actually very similar to this one. Let's get here a query from up here. Let's paste it here. Query collection group will stay the same. Here will be not start after, but we'll use here start at. Okay, I will explain it later. Start at, you need to import it from up here, from Firestore. All right, let's get it back down. Here, start at, and a limit. We'll limit it for the items we want to display. And let's remove this last return. It shouldn't be here, like this. Yeah, and that should cover the navigation backwards. Okay, so let's try it out. Let's save it. Go back to your browser. Okay, let's refresh here. I'll try to go to the forward. This works. Let's go to the previous. Okay, this doesn't work definitely. Okay, let's get back for a second. I think I know what's the issue here. Start at. You can see here is a state pagination last item, which is not longer true. When we are going to the back, we need to go to here, provide here previous item. So provide here not previous item like this. Okay, now it should be fine. Go back to your browser. Let's refresh one more time, and let's try to go back and forth. Okay, so next. Okay, let's go back. Okay, now it's working. Let's go back. You can see I can go back more. I am on the first page. I'll go next. Items, back, items, next, next, next. No other pages. I can go more next. Okay, let's go back. Previous pages, scooter, new size like car, and now it's working. It's working just great. It's working exactly as it should be. And now the hard part, guys, the explanation, what's happening here, right? So you can also navigate forward and backward multiple times to verify that it's working correctly. Yeah, it's working correctly. Okay, now let's see the explanation. This will be more complex. Okay, let me take a look here. I will start with this. So we'll handle this else block, right? So that else block is not clear. I'll also get this. Okay, and move it here so it's more visible. Okay. So what I'm doing here, last item index, I'm getting from the pagination history. So as we navigated, let's imagine this case. That's what we are seeing now on our pages. We have a page 1, we have went from a page 1 to the page 2, page 3. So this means our last item is E9. Oops, not this, I won't have my brush tool. Okay, so my last item is E9, and in the pagination history, this will be my pagination history, I will call it pagination history, PH. So as I was navigating, I was always storing the first items from a pagination history, right? So I should have here E1, E4, and E7 in my pagination history. So here I'm getting last item index from a pagination history. So my last item in the pagination history is an index pagination history length -1. Length of this is a 3, -1 is 2. So my last item index is 2. So 0, 0, 1, 2. That's 2 here. Okay, my last item index is 2. That's my last item index. Now previous item again, I'm taking a look at the pagination history. Now I'm not looking for the index but actual item here, my snapshot. So I'm going to pagination history, PH, and I'm getting item on the index, my last item index here, -1. So it's a 2, -1. This accessing the index at the index of 1. Okay, this will get me item number E4. Okay, so my previous item will be E4. Okay, because I'm looking in the pagination history and I'm looking for an item and the last index -1, which is 1, and index 1 here is E4. Okay. Okay, now I will say here, if there is nothing found here, so there is no other item, so basically there is no other previous item, this means we cannot fetch previous data, we are setting the fetching data to the false and we are returning from this function, so we are not fetching any new data. So this is a check, if there are no previous data, just return from here. Okay, now, what I'm doing here, I am getting my pagination history, and I'm removing my last item. Okay, so I'm getting our last item index, which is 2. All right, so this is the item 0, 1, 2. This is this item, and I will remove it. This you can do it like this with the splice function to get the last item. All right, and this will remove this item. Okay, last splice, and you will put the index of item and how many items you want to remove. Only 1. So this will remove the last item. So my pagination history will be only this now. This E1 and E4. Okay, now I will create new data. So I'm creating the exchanges. I'm asking for the new exchanges, and I would like to start at the previous item. Okay, so fetch me new exchanges. Start me at the E4. E4, so start me here. Okay, start fetching the new data at the E4. Okay, and then simply fetch me 2 of them, or in our case, I'm saying here 3, right? So fetch me 3 of them. So fetch me this. Fetch me this. And I'm using here start at, because start at will fetch me the new data, including the item I will provide here. Okay, so fetch me data, start at E4, including E4. So this will be these 3 data here. If I would provide here start after, as we had it before, so this would be start after, this would fetch me this data. E5, E6, and E7. The 3 data after E4, and that will be wrong. So start at includes the data also you are specifying in the function. So guys, I hope now it's clear. If you need, you can also rewatch the explanation here, but that's basically should be it. That's why we are keeping the history of a pagination, so we can navigate to the previous items this way. So yeah, try it out to debug it if you're not sure. Okay, so maybe it will be more helpful to you than see me to draw here. If you have any questions, you can ask them, of course. So I'll write your debugger so you see this on your own eyes, what you're getting here. Okay, I'll write your debugger. Go back to your browser, let's refresh and go to the last page. Go to the next, next, next. Open your browsers and go to the previous. If you don't see straight away your code, you just need to click here on this arrow. Okay, so you can see I'm getting last item index. So in the pagination history, I have 4 items. Okay, 0, 1, 0. I have these items here. 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's my pagination items in the history. Getting its index is the length of the pagination minus 1. That's the index 3. This will get me last item index. Last item index is at the index of 3. Now I will get this last item index from pagination history. It will be actually the item before the last one. So from a pagination history, at the index of last item index minus 1, which is the index 2. So this will fetch me the item 2, which will be 0, 1, 2. This will be this item here, the item here, and this has ID of VQSIE. VQSIE. So let's verify it. Okay, actually, let me see. I want to go back. No, we already jumped here, but you can see it here already. Previous item should be ID VQSIE. Okay, so that's the ID. So we get this previous item. We didn't jump here into the if statement because it wasn't the last item. We could retrieve it from pagination history. And here in the pagination history, we spliced the last item index at the index of 3. So now in the pagination history, I should have only 3 items. Okay. Okay, ID VQSIE, that's the last item, and we remove the completely last item from the pagination history. And now we are just scoring data starting at this item of ID VQSIE, and we'll get this data. And yeah, that's basically it. We'll fetch the next 2 data and we'll display them. Okay, so I think that's more clear when maybe you will run your debuggers and you will understand it better with the debugging. Still, any questions, you can ask them, and we are almost done with the pagination. We can navigate forward, we can navigate backward. Only one small improvement I will do here, and this will be, I will display here current page. You can see it's a page 1. It's never changing, so we want to handle also this. This will be very simple. Let's see you for this in the next one. In the last lecture, we have handled the pagination going backwards. In this lecture, we'll continue with a tiny improvement. Okay, so what we want to display is the number of the page we are currently on. Okay, so when I will go to the next, I will display page 2. When I will go to the previous, I will display back page 1. Okay, so how can we do it? Go back to your code and we'll handle it in our Exchange module. Create here a getter. Okay, so let's create here getters. All right, and which will get me the current page of navigation. So current page. Okay. And simply current page we can get from the pagination history, because remember, as we are navigating forward, I'm pushing always item of the pagination, the first item of the pagination to the pagination history. When I'm moving backwards, I am removing it from the array. So pagination history can keep the track of how many pages we have. Okay, so I will say here if, let's get here also state. Okay, so if we don't have any pagination history, so if we don't have a state pagination history for some reason, initially it can be empty, right? So history, actually pagination history. In that case, just simply return 1. It means we're on the first page, return 1. In any other case, let's write here return state pagination history dot length, like this, and this will get me how many items I basically have in the array. Okay, and now I can use the current page. So go back to home page. Let's get here compute that. Let's call it current page. I will simply return here whatever I have in a getter. So return this $sign store getters, and let's extract here exchange / and the current page. Okay, and I will get this getter and I will return it, this computed property, and I will return it to the pagination. So I'll get here how we want to call this property. Let's call it just a page. And let's pass here current page. Now go to the exchange pagination. Let's get here this prop. So in a prop, we'll get here page. All right, type will be, what type is the number? Okay, and the default is 1. Now I'll get a page and just simply display it. So here is a page 1, remove it double curly brackets, and let's write here page, and that's it. Now when you save it, back to browser, and now when you will navigate forward and backward, you will see page 2, page 3, page 4, now other page, going backwards, page 3, page 2, page 1, and now other page, and yeah, that's it. Okay, so pagination is done. If you have any questions related to this, ask them in the next lectures. We'll continue with the search feature. Okay, so for this, I hope to see you in the next lecture. Cheers.
It's break time. Do you like this video? Don't forget to subscribe to get new videos. Share this video to open new premium videos and ebooks. We'll be a star freelancer.
Hello, welcome back here. In the last lecture, we have finished the pagination feature. In this lecture, I would like to show you one issue I have discovered. So before we'll get to work on the search feature, let's take a look at this. Navigate to the last page, all right? So currently page 4, right? That should be last page. Go to any page you want, let's say about, and go back to the page. Okay, see, you will see display the initial data, and then you will navigate page 6, page 7, page 8, page 9, and so on and so on. And this is the bug. So this is happening because whenever I'm navigating to the other page, I'm going back to my page. I'm calling here function, this function here, this page, exchange, get exchanges. So anytime I will navigate from this page, I get back to the page, I'm calling get exchanges, but my state is the same as I left it. My pagination state is the same as I left it in the last paginating. So basically, I will fetch more exchanges. I'll fetch more exchanges here, and I will set the last item and the set pagination history to the new data, and this will completely mess up my pagination. Okay, because I'm never resetting the pagination history when I'm fetching the new exchanges. So how we are going to do it? I will simply up here, I will create a function to get a default pagination data. So I'll write here const init pagination. All right, and from here we'll return the object of our pagination data, which is basically this. Okay, and I will init it here. Okay, it's fetching data to false, pagination history this, and so on. Actually, it's fetching data. It's fetching data. We will leave to the. We leave out from here. Yeah, it's fetching data is not related to the pagination itself. I like this, and here in our pagination, I will call it like this. I will call here 3 dots init pagination, and it's fetching data to the false. Okay. So this will return me the default pagination here. No changes here so far. We're just returning it from a function. Now, let's go to our get exchanges function here. And I will commit here. I'll commit here a new action, commit, new mutation. I will call it a reset pagination. All right, I list the pagination just like this. We don't need to pass any data to it. We don't need to do anything. Okay, now create here this reset pagination. Okay, so here is pagination. Let's call it. Let's get here state. All right, and now let's access here state.pagination equal. I will pass here new object, and I will get here my all the data of the pagination plus init new pagination data. Or actually, I have overcomplicated it. I think I have too much overcomplicated it. Let's do it like this simply, guys. I apologize for this. Go up on the top of the file. Yeah, let's pass here initial data. It's fetching data will be part of the pagination. So let's write here is fetching data is false. Okay, doesn't really matter. And here pagination will be just simply like this init pagination, much simpler, you see. And when you're calling the reset items, so let's go down to your get exchanges, reset pagination, call it. Okay, and here call access to the state pagination, init pagination, and that's it. Okay, yeah, let's not complicate our lives. Just simply call init pagination here, reset items in the get exchanges, and here init pagination through the function also here. Now we can save it. We can go back to our browsers. Let's try it out. So let's go to the last page. Page 2, page 3, page 4. Okay, let's go to the about. Go back to home. Yeah, pagination 1, 2, 3. FAQ, home. Yeah, it's working good. All right, so this is working fine. Of course, we can still do some improvements, but yeah, we can handle it later. Let's work on the search feature, and as I mentioned in the previous one, we'll start with this in the next lecture. So I hope to see you there. Cheers. Hi there, welcome back here. In the last lecture, we have finished pagination feature. In this lecture, we'll start working on the search functionality. So let's take a look at this. Open our code. All right, and we'll navigate to our hero components. So let's find our components. Hero.view, because here we are keeping our search. All right, let's take a look at hero search. And here it is. So input, here is a div searching coding. The first thing I want to do here is to get a value from the input. So as we're writing into input, I would like to store the value somewhere. Okay, so for this we need script here. Let's write here script. All right, in the script we will store data. Write here data. And in the data we'll have a, let's say, searched value. Searched value. And it will be by default empty string. Then we'll have a method to handle search. So let's add here methods to handle search, method handle search like this. All right, and in handle search, I will retrieve the event. Okay, first we'll pass the handle search to our input, so you can see that we are passing to the input. We'll have a search, handle search. So let's write here add sign, and this is the input. All right, so add sign input, so this will be executed every time you are writing into your input, okay? So handle search. So your handle search method will be called every time you will be writing into the input. Okay, it's called input event. In the handle search, therefore, you will get your event object, and from the event you can destructurize from the target value. So let's write here cons, destructurize your value, and you can get this value from event.target like this. And now just simply let's write here this searched value, and let's assign here value. And I will console log out the searched value. Or actually, I don't need to go even console log it out. I can just simply write it here. Okay, so searching coding. I'll be searching coding only if we have a searched value. So right here, if we have a searched value, then let's write here searching, and here will be double curly brackets, and here will be searched value like this. Okay. So let's save it. And let's see. So you can see by the default there is nothing displayed, and I will search here for, let's say, guitar. Okay, you can see searching guitar. Okay. Okay, searching car, searching Tesla, or something. Okay, so now we can get an input. We can also display it in our view. And that's just for a beginning. In the next lecture we'll continue, and we'll try to search for something. So I hope to see you guys in the next lecture. Cheers. In the last lecture, we have started to work on the search functionality. Let's continue in this lecture with the same topic, and let's improve it. Okay, so back to our hero.view. We can search the value. We are keeping the track of the value, but now I would like to get this value to our home.view. I would like to get this value, what we are searching for in the home, and in a home, I would like to provide some functionality to filter the exchanges. Okay? So we can use the concept of props, right? So we can pass here some method from here. We can pass it to the props, and we can execute it in our hero.view. So let's do it. In our methods, I will create here, under this one here, I will create here a new function. I will call it filter exchanges like this. All right. And here I will provide the value we are searching for, okay? So we can call it also again here search value. All right, and we'll just console log in out. Okay, so console log out search value. Okay, and here will be some filtering functionality. Okay, so filter exchanges will be passing to our hero component. So let's find your hero component. Here it is. And let's write here some prop. We can call it, for example, on search. All right, and on search we'll pass here filter exchanges. Now, of course, we need to retrieve on search to our hero.view. So go to your hero.view and pass here props. So under or above data, right here props. All right, comma here, and we'll specify here on search, right? So on search, we'll write here type. This is a function, and the required will be function required is true. Function and required is true. Perfect. Now we have here on search, and we can simply call it when we are getting our value. So simply call here on search, and let's provide here the value we are searching for. And it should be this on search, of course, this on search. So now when you will see console log, it's not coming from here because you don't have any console log here, but it's rather coming from your filter exchanges functionality, and we can provide here some functionality to actually filter the exchanges by the searched value. Okay, let's save it. Back here, I will just simply search here some value, hello world, and yeah, we are getting this value. Perfect. Okay, so that's it from this lecture. Let's continue next one. In the last lecture, we have passed searched value from the hero component to the home page component. Let's continue this lecture and let's improve it so we can actually filter the exchanges. Okay. Let's see our home.view, and we will do with this approach. I will store here the searched value we are getting here from our prop here to our data of this component. Okay, so we'll create here data under the components. Let's write here data. Okay, so data function will return here object. We'll specify the data, and we'll call this data. I am planning to search the exchanges, or I'm planning to filter the exchanges by the title. So I will call it searched exchange title. So searched exchange title. And by default, the search exchange title will be empty string, right? We want to store it only. We'll be searching. So in a filter exchanges, I'll just simply get this searched exchange title, and I will assign here search value we are getting from our hero component. Okay. So what is the benefit of this? To have it on the data is that now we can react with our computed properties to this value. So you can create here computed properties. Actually, we'll reuse our exchanges out here because I would like to filter the exchanges. Okay, so we'll reuse this, and we'll be returning here actually our items from the exchanges, but I will create here a getter. Okay, so I'll write here something like this: return this $sign store getters, and here I will look for exchange getter. So exchange getter. Of course, we don't have this getter yet. I will create it in a second. So exchange getter and the filter exchanges, and you know that you can call getters as functions, right? So we can call this. I'll pass here our search exchange title. So this search exchange title. And now this will be responsible for getting my exchanges. Okay, pretty interesting, right? So let me implement this first, and I will be talking about this later. Okay, so we are missing filter exchanges function, so we need to implement this in our store. So copy filter exchanges name. Go to your module of the exchange. Okay, here it is, modules exchange.js. Now in the getters, you'll write a comma here, and you will write here filter exchanges. Of course, filter exchanges will be not ordinary getter, because this getter is accepting value here of our search title, or whatever we are passing here, search exchange title, right? So this will be not ordinary getter, and you know how to write these getters when you're expecting to call it with the value. We already wrote one. Okay, so write it like this. You'll write here, it's a function that returns a function. So it's function that expecting the state, all right, and returns another function that expecting searched title, let's say. We can call it search title, search value, up to you, but I will call it search title. Like this. Okay, so now I can get here both state and the value I am passing here. Okay, so state from here and the search value from here. Perfect. Now what I can do, I can filter exchanges. Okay, so I can get here first items from the state. So I can just simply get here, let's extract here items from the state. Okay, like this. So the state, these items here, right, we are keeping on the state here. Okay, this will get me items, and I will first check. If I don't have any searched value, I'm not searching for anything. So if I don't have a search value or search title, I would like to just return items. Return items, and that's it. Okay? But if I have some search value, then I would like to filter my exchanges I'm currently displaying on the screen. So I will display this. I will write a const filtered exchanges, and I'll write here items.filter. I'll pass their callback function, so item. This will be my filter. This will be my exchange I would like to iterate through, and I will return here item.title and operator. All right, item.title to lowercase includes and a search title to lowercase like this, and then I will return here filtered exchanges. All right, guys, I know this kind of seems confusing. Don't worry, we'll go through this. All right, and yeah, when we have this, we can take a look back to our home. Okay, here looks good, and we can try it out. So first let's try it out. Okay, so go here. I will refresh just in case, and let's write here guitar. All right, and it seems doesn't work. Items filter is not a function. Okay, it should be filter, a singular. My mistake. This should be definitely filter in an exchange. This should be filter. Okay, now it should work. Okay, let's refresh one more time. Let's see. So let's write here guitar, and yeah, it works. Guitar, when I will not search for anything, we are displaying everything. Skip pass, when there isn't found anything, it's empty. Maybe we should display some empty, something the exchange was not found or something like this, but it's definitely working. Perfect. Looking for a lesson. All right, and it's working. All right, so that's all great. Let's display more exchanges per page, just like tiny improvement. Let's write here init pagination with the item count of 3. Okay, so we'll display at least 3 exchanges per page. Okay, and we can search exchanges on any page. So Tesla car is here. Programming. Of course, now when you have only 3 exchanges per page, but maybe you would allow 20 exchanges per page, it would be much better to see it, but we don't have 20 exchanges per page, but you can see it's working nature. All right, working. Okay, so how does it exactly work? So let me see this example here, where we are displaying skipas in Alps, guitar lessons, and scooter exchange. So let's say I am passing here a lesson, all right, like this, lesson, okay? When I'm passing this value, through the home.view, right? We are retrieving it to the search, and therefore, when this value in a computer is changing here, I'm getting this lesson value here, so I'm passing here lesson, okay? And this is going this pass here, and it's called with a getter, okay? So now I'm going into the getter. I'm going here to getter, and here I'm getting lesson, right? So this is lesson. Here items are my 3 exchanges, you can see. So this is my 3 exchanges, you can see here. Actually, I need to remove the lesson. So this is my skipas in Alps, guitar lessons, and scooter exchange, okay? So this is I'll just write this is my exchange 1, exchange 2, and exchange 3. Now, if I'm not searching anything, this would be not the lesson, but it would be empty string, nothing here. All right, then I would return all of my items. So I will return this subset. And that's what you can see here, right? So that's all of the exchanges I'm displaying currently. If that's not the case, we are going to filter them. We are using function filter. So you can see on this area, we're basically calling filter here. All right, filter. And filter expecting the function here, callback function. This entire function here you can see. And this function is executed for every item in your array. So the first iteration, it will execute the item, and item will be exchange 1. The second iteration will execute the function, the item will be exchange 2. Third iteration will be exchange 3, and so on. When this will happen, you are writing here a condition, and if the condition is true, then you are including the item in the resulting array, these filter exchanges. So you're checking if the item has a title, all right, this condition should be true for all of the exchanges, then continue here. No, continue here. If the item title to lowercase, okay, we are lowercasing everything, includes search value, then include this item into the array. So let's see an example of the first one. So ski pass in Alps. Okay, so first item title is a ski pass in Alps. All right, so now we are comparing. If the item title to lowercase, we are lowercase to ski pass in Alps, includes, so if it includes in a string search value, so if this includes the lesson, all right, the search value, if it includes this value, also lowercase, we are lowercasing it, then include me this item ski pass in Alps, this exchange, into the filtered exchange array. And you can see there is no such a word, lesson, in this word. So this is not added into the filter exchanges. It's not simply there. Okay, we are going with the next exchange. The next exchange is guitar lessons. Does guitar lesson includes the lesson in the string? Yeah, it includes. So this guitar lesson, the exchange 2, will be added into this array here. And the last one, scooter exchange, it doesn't include this word, so it's not added. So in the filter exchanges, we will, in the end, if I'm looking for a lesson, I will just return exchange 2, and this array you can see on your screens was displayed. So when I write the lesson, like this. When I just write the A here, you can see A string is included in all of these words. All right? When I write here R, only guitar is here, because only guitar includes this R in this word. And so on, scooter, SC, you can see only scooter. Okay, so you got a point how it's filtered out. That's a filter. That's a filter function. You just provide. You will filter over your items, and if the condition is true, then you will include it array. I will show you a simple example, simplest possible example of this. So, for example, if you have an array of let's say const numbers, and you have a numbers 1, 3, 2, 5, 10, 100. All right, and I want to create the numbers too. All right, and I would like to include only the numbers that are larger or equal to 5. Okay, so I would like to only include these numbers too, only numbers 5, 10, and 100, right? So I'll write here numbers dot filter. I will provide here callback function. All right, and I will here I will get the number. I'm currently iterating, so in the first iteration, this will be 1. In the second iteration, this will be 3. In the third iteration, this will be 2. In the fourth one will be 5, and I will call this function with all of these numbers from array. Okay, and if I will say here condition, if the number I'm currently iterating is larger or equal to 5, then return true. Otherwise return false. Return false. Okay, so if I will iterate through the numbers here, so I will get here 1. First iteration, number 1. Is number larger than 5? It's not, so it returns false. It will be not added into the numbers. Number 3. Is number 3 larger than 5? False. No, it's not added. Number 2. Is it larger than 5? No, false. It's not added. Number 5. It's equal or larger than 5? Yeah, that's true. It will be added to the numbers too. And the same for all the numbers in the array. And when all the numbers are iterated, you will see numbers 2 are 5, 10, and 100. And the same principles apply to our exchanges. Of course, go ahead. You can debug it. You can see it on your own eyes. When you write the debugger here into the filter function, let's say, you will see it. Okay. Just a refresh here. Okay, so I'll write here, let's say, lesson less like this, and here I'll add a lesson. Okay, so you can see search title will be lesso, all right. And if we don't have a search value return items, of course, this condition is not met, but here we are filtering through our items. So first item will be our Salzburg ski pass in Alps. You can see this entire object. We are checking if we have a title. Yes, we have title. And we are checking if the title, ski pass in Alps, includes search value, lesso. And it doesn't include, so it will not add it, but it will go into the next iteration. Next iteration, we'll get here a second item, which is the Guitar lessons. Guitar lessons title includes this word we are searching for, so it will be added into the array. All right, the third one, scooter exchanges, doesn't include this word, so it will be not added into the array. We'll write a breakpoint here, and you will see the filter exchanges will be only one array, only one item in the array. Okay, and it will be guitar lesson. So that's how it works, guys. If any questions to it, feel free to ask. We'll continue with the new feature in the next lecture because this is working. Okay, so I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers. In the last lecture, we have finished filter feature. In the next few lectures, we'll continue with the user experience improvements. So first, user experience improvement will be the changing of this menu when you make it smaller. So please, let's right click here, inspect. And when you make the screen smaller, you can see when I will click here on this burger icon, I cannot open the menu. So that's one of the things I would like to fix. So first, how we can fix it? Let's click here on the cursor. Let's try to select the navbar, and you are looking here for a navbar menu. When you will select your class, you can double click it, and you can add here just class for a second for testing purposes. And let's add here class is-active. Okay, so is-active, you can see it here, is-active. I'll press enter, and as soon as is-active class is added, the menu is opened. So that's one of the things we need to take care of. We need to add here programmatically is-active class. Another thing here, this icon, when we're clicking this span, you can see this span roll button. When we click on this, we just simply can toggle this state. Okay, so when clicking on the button, we can open the menu. And we can do it very easily in the Vue. Go to your code, we'll handle it in our navbar component. So go to your components, navbar.vue, and we'll keep here a state of a data. So let's go down into your script. Let's provide here data under the props. All right, comma here, let's write here return, and let's write here, let's call it is menu open, and let's write it to false. Okay, so is menu open will be by default false. Now, go up to your template, and let's find here this span I showed you, this span here. Okay, let's simply add to this span click event handler, and simply let's assign to is menu open the opposite state of the current is menu open. Okay, so is menu open is equal, like this, is equal is menu open to opposite of is menu open. So if is menu open is true, this will assign to is menu open false. If is menu is false, it will assign true. So it's just a toggling functionality. It's always assigning the opposite value to is menu open. Okay, when we have this, we can provide it on the second line here, and also roll on the second line, this on the second line. All right, so it's easier to read. Okay, and also what we need to do here, we need to provide here active class on the button menu itself. So let's write here this. Let's write here class directive, and let's assign here is active, is-active. All right, only when the menu is open. So is menu open. Of course, this has to be wrapped into a double quotes like this. So to this span button, provide is active class when only menu is open. And the same thing, I will copy this class, and we'll find here navbar menu. This navbar menu I showed you in HTML, and that this is the navbar menu we are looking for. The same thing applies here. Let's provide a div on the new line, class on the new line, ending bracket here. And the same thing, let's provide here class is active only when the menu is open. Now let's save it, and now it should already work. So when you will save it, go back to browser, let's refresh here on the small page, and let's toggle the button, and you should be able to open and the close menu. Okay, so this is working. The one thing that will not work yet is when you make it this menu, and I will make the screen bigger, you can see your stylings are staying as is active ones, and they are a little bit grayed out. So that's of course not good, and we need to take care of it in the next lecture, but so far this is working. So yeah, let's continue with this in the next lecture. I will be talking more about this. In the last lecture, we have worked on the drop-down menu. In this lecture, we'll continue with this and we'll fix it. Okay, so the problem is when we open the drop-down menu and we will make it bigger. Okay, you can see our menu is a different color, because when you will click at this, let's select your menu. Let's open here a container navbar menu. You can see we are keeping here a class is active here on the right side. You can see is-active is still here. We are never disposing it. So when I would remove it manually here, you can see the colors will go back to the white color. So now we need to handle it programmatically. We need to check whenever we are resizing, and when we'll pass the specific threshold, we need to close the menu if the menu is open. Okay? So let's do it. I'll show you. I'll close this. Let's go back to our code. I will handle it a little bit with the traditional way of JavaScript in our navbar. Under the setup, I will create here two functions: created and unmounted. Created and unmounted, comma unmounted. Okay, so one is called whenever your component is created, other one when your component is destroyed. Here I will use in the created window dot add event listener. Okay, that's a window object that's available in your JavaScript in your browsers that you can simply access by writing window here, right? And you can access add event listener. That's nothing new here. Window add event listener. Okay, so I'm adding here event listener, and I would like to watch the resize event like this. Okay, and when the resizing will happen, I will call the function. I will call here methods. I will create here a method. I will call it handle window resizing like this, and I will call this handle window resizing. So whenever we are resizing the window, then call the function handle window resizing. On the unmounted, we would like to, when the component is destroyed, we would like to get rid of this event. So we will write here a remove event listener resize. Okay, so now in our methods, when we are handle window resizing, we'll get here event, because it will be passed through the add event listener. When the handle window resizing is called through the add event listener, you are getting past the event object. And in the event object, you can get a target, and there you can get the current size of your window. So I'll do it like this. If the menu is open, if this is menu open, and event.target.inner width is larger than 1020. I already checked these values. 1020 is okay for us. Then this is menu open is false, and that's the entire thing. Okay, so this will be called every time you are resizing, and if your menu is larger than 1020, if your window is larger than 1020 width, then you are closing it automatically. So let's take a look. Let's refresh here. All right, let's open the window. And as I will be resizing, the menu should be closed. Okay, I will open it again. It's closed, and styles are applied correctly. Okay, I can close it. Hop, I will open it, and I will go with the resizing, and it's working. Okay, you can again write the console logs here in the handle window resizing. You will see anytime I will do this, anytime I will resize, the function is called, and it's event target winner width. I can just console log it out, so you will see console log event target inner width, and you will see every time I will resize, I'm getting the size of the viewport. Okay, and I'm checking some threshold 1020. Okay, then I'm closing it if it's open. So nothing really complicated here. If you leave it this way, let's save it and let's continue in the next lecture. Cheers. And hello, welcome here. In the last lecture, we have handled the drop-down menu. In this lecture, we'll continue with a new functionality. We are going to upload the image avatar. Okay, let's begin. For this, we need to go to the profile page. And what I would like to have here in update profile is simply to have an option to upload the picture from our computer and then upload it to the Firestore. Because currently we are passing here only links to the actual images somewhere else. I would like to upload our own one. Okay, for this, guys, we need to copy some code, just some initial template for the input, and then from this point on, we'll go with our own implementation. So please stop the video and open the resources of this lecture, and you should find these components, user profile model.view, and here is a part of the template you need to copy. Okay, this file has a name, this div here, you can see this div starting here and ending here. Please, let's copy this div, go to your code. All right, and we'll go to our profile. So we'll close everything I have here. I'll go to our profile update model, right? So here, profile model, components profile model. And let's find our current input. So looking for the avatar. Okay, what we need to remove here? Let me take a look one more time. We need to remove only input itself. Okay. So you have this input here, you can remove it. Okay. And here you will copy the code you have just, you will paste here code you just copied. Like this. And that's it. That's it. And when you take a look at this, what will display now will be some input type file. When the input is type file, this means you can click at it and you can choose the file from your file system. And there are some other icons and so on, some other things that you will talk about. Okay, but first let's take a look at this. Okay, let's go back to your browser here. And you can see here, you can click here, choose file, and you can choose file from a file system. Okay, so that's a good beginning. This screenshot here on the right side is hard-coded information. This is screenshot hard-coded information. And here should be font awesome icon on this side. So a font awesome upload icon. Yeah, this we can also we can provide. Okay, so I think first I will provide this font awesome icon, and then we'll go with the functionality to actually upload the image. One more time, if the input has the type of the file, then it looks like this. You can click at this and you can choose the file. Okay, now with the font awesome icon, let's get back to our code. All right, let's go to our main.js. And here we have here icons, all right, and what icon we need to import. We have a FA star so far. Here we need something called FA upload. Do we have FA upload? Let me write here, FA upload. Yes, we have FA upload, perfect. We'll add it to the library, so let's write here, library add. Into the add, I guess I can add here array of the items, of the icons, and here will be FA upload. Okay, and this way I can use FA upload icon. Okay, let's go to your profile model.view. All right, and here you will choose the... Okay, here you need to import the font awesome icon, right? First, the component itself. Okay, I don't remember exactly what the import is, so I will go to my... I'll go to my exchange list, and somewhere here we should have used font awesome, right? Or somewhere else. Let me take a look. Not here, not the exchange list, but let me see when we are using the font awesome icon. Somewhere here we are using icons, right? So icon. Okay, not here. Here it is. Font awesome icon. That's what I was looking for. Okay. Here it is. My mistake. Okay, so we are looking for this font awesome icon component. Okay, let's import it. Let's go to your profile model and let's get it here. Okay, but the icon will be not a star, but it will be upload. Like this, and let's remove this icon from here. Okay, now let's save it. Let's go back to your browser. Let's open this, and you can see now you have an upload icon here. All right, so much better now. Perfect. Okay, and that's gonna be it. So if you want, as I mentioned, just simply inspect your elements, and you will open here this, and you can inspect what you have here in next lecture will continue, and we'll start working on actual upload functionality. So I hope to see you guys in the next one. Cheers. In the last lecture, we have started to work on the upload functionality. In this lecture, we'll continue with this, and we'll try to get a file from the input. All right, let's begin. Let's see what we have implemented. We have here so far our input for the file, as we have done in the last lecture. So let's move all of this on the new line. So let's find here input, this one here. Let's move the class, type, and the name on the new line here. And in the input, we'll place here the event handler, which will be the change event. So @ sign and the change. And when the change will happen, basically change means when you will choose the file from your file system, we want to call here method, let's call it handle upload. Handle upload. Of course, we don't have this function, we need to provide it. So copy this name, go to your methods, if you have Hedemia, we have here some methods. Let's write here comma, and let's write here handle upload. As with every event, you are getting here event object, so you can retrieve here event object. We are used to get here values from the events object through the target, and the same applies here. You can get the actual file from the target. You can write like this: const file equal event.target.files, and you will get a file at the index of 0, and this will get you your file. We can also console log it out, so you can see it, file. Okay, so let's prepare some testing files. So I will download some file, right? So I'll go to Unsplash. I'll just simply download some file. All right, so let's say this one. Save image. Let's provide to the downloads. Okay. Now let's go back here, update file. I'll open a console so you can see it. Choose file, go to downloads. Okay, and here it is. We are getting this file, and you can see we have here a couple of properties. Last modified times in a milliseconds. Here is a modified date. Here is the size of the file. Here is the name of the file, type of the file. Here is a prototype. On the prototype, you have a couple of interesting properties as well. Okay. Okay, but what we need to retrieve from the file, we need actually the byte information. We need to get an array buffer from the file, so the actually raw data. Okay, we need to go get a raw data of our file as it looks like under, not how you can see it as the image, but you can see it as a consequence or as a sequence of bytes. Okay, so how can we get a sequence of bytes, this information of the file? You need to do it like this. I will show you. Okay, you need to write here. You need to get here reader. Reader is, by the way, available in your JavaScript normally. That's nothing new. You can get it. You can access here file reader. Right? So that's what I'm looking for here now. And I will create here a new instance of a file reader like this. This will get me a reader, and in a reader I will call here a function reader dot and read as array buffer like this. Okay? And I'll provide here file. This will read my file, and I will get here array buffer, which will be the sequence of bytes. Now I'll write here reader on load. All right. You will assign here function. Make sure you will assign here function, not an arrow function, just the normal function. And on load, you will call here console log, and you will get here reader a result like this. Okay, so you're registering here on load event. On load event will be called whenever your file will be finishing reading your file as an array buffer, and in the result, you should get here the raw binary data. So please let's save it. Go to your browser, refresh here, and upload the file, and you will see you will get the binary data. So update profile, choose the file. All right, and you can see array buffer is here, and you can see here the sequence of actually bytes. That's how your image looks behind the scene. It is a sequence of lot of numbers. And this information is a huge array buffer. What you have here, you need to send it through the Firestore. You need to send it to the Firestore, and the Firestore will upload the sequence of bytes, and that's simply your image, and then your image will be uploaded. Okay, so we'll leave it here. We are reading our binary data. In the next lecture, we'll upload them to the Firestore. See you there, guys. Cheers. In the last lecture, we have been improving our image upload functionality, and the focus was to get our data, our image, as array buffer. In this lecture, we'll continue with this, and we'll do structural changes. First, let's take a look on this array buffer. So this number, 527,364, what does it mean? This is the size of your image in bytes. All right? When you will take a look at this, you have your array of as many bytes, of 527,364 bytes. You can see you have lots of bytes here. Okay? Okay, and you can also verify when you will go to your when you will see your file in your folder, you will see it will have the size, right? It is a 527 kilobytes, okay, which in a byte would be 527,000 bytes. Okay, so just as an off topic for you. Now that we have these bytes, we need to dispatch them to the action, because in a dispatch we would like to handle our Firestore upload. So how can we do it? Well, we can do it simply. Instead of console logging here informations of the reader result, we can simply dispatch here action. This $store dispatch, and we'll be dispatching this through the user. We'll write here a user / and upload image. And we'll send to our action object, we'll be specifying bytes, or we can call it array buffer, or whatever you call it, which will be a reader result. All right, and the name of the image. Name of the image is our file.name. Okay, which we are getting up here. Okay, now of course we need to create this action, right? So we need to create upload image on our user module. So please let's copy the name here. Let's go to our user module. Close this. Okay, so let's go to our user module, src store modules user. And here let's create your action. So let's say, all right, we can be on top of the file here. Okay, upload image. Okay, for now, I don't care about if we are getting to the context. I'll here underscore, and I will get here bytes that I'm sending and the name of the file. For now, I just want to console log here bytes, so I see that I'm getting them, and I will console log out the name so I can see I'm getting it. Name. Okay, perfect. Now we have action. We have our profile model. Let's try to run it, and I can tell you right now it will not work. Okay, we'll get the error. Let's try it out, okay? So let's refresh. Let's try to upload your image. Let's start to upload your image. Okay, upload file. Let's select this, and you will see cannot read properties of undefined rating dispatch. What does it mean? That it's trying to access the dispatch, but this dispatch is not accessible. So when I will write here debugger, here on load, I'll refresh, I'll choose the file. Okay, let's choose here file, and you will see, I'll try to access here. This is a context of the file reader. This is not this context of your your component. So you cannot get there your functions. You cannot get their store and so on. You're getting the context of the file reader in this. Okay. So how can we get actually context of our component? So how we can call the dispatch? We'll do a small trick here. Okay, simply I will create here variable. I'll call it self. And I will assign here this. Because outside of here we can access this, that's no problem, but the problem is in a callback function here on load, because it is called in the context of the file reader, and this here will be pointing to the reader, not to your component. But when we outside of this function, then we will assign to the self this, and here I will try to access the self store. This should work already. Okay, so this way you can save it, and now you should get the informations you need. Get the informations you need. Okay, so let's refresh. Select your image. All right, let's select the photo. And you can see you're getting now your data through the dispatch. So you're getting your array buffer, and you're getting the name of the image as we have it. Perfect. So one step closer to the image upload functionality on which will work. Finalize in the next lecture. So I hope to see you there. Cheers. Hey guys, welcome back in the new lecture. In the last lecture, we have created new action in which we are retrieving the bytes of the image and the name of the image. Let's continue in this lecture and let's upload the image to the Firebase storage. All right, back to our user module in which we have upload image action and we are getting our bytes and the name of the image. Okay, then we want to upload our bytes to the Firebase. We need to import here a couple of things. So up here, let's write here new imports, and you will be importing everything from Firebase storage. Okay, let's write here import curly brackets, and you need 4 functions. Okay, you need to get here get storage. All right, get storage ref, then upload bytes, upload bytes, and you need get download URL uppercase. Okay, so make sure you don't have any typos here. Okay, when you have these imports, let's write here from, and it will import it from the Firebase /storage, like this. Okay, and now we can use these functions. It'll be pretty straightforward. You will see it's not that difficult to upload the image. We can remove this console log bytes and the name. And what we'll get here will be storage itself, reference to the storage, let's write here storage, and you will call here a function you have called before, imported before, called get storage. This will get you storage. Now we need to get a reference to the storage. write here storage ref, and you can get a reference to the storage by writing ref. All right. You'll provide now your storage you have imported, storage here, and the name under which you would like to store your file. And the name will be our name of the image, this name here. So name here. Okay, so we are getting storage. We are creating the reference, okay, to storage. It's called storage reference, where you need to provide the storage you have got here and the name of the image. Okay, since we have a storage ref, now we can use their function to upload bytes. First, let's write this function as async. And you will call here upload bytes. All right, you will provide here your storage reference. Okay, storage reference, not a name, but a storage reference. And the bytes you want to upload. So basically I'm saying here, please upload me to the storage under the name of the image you already saw in the console log, upload me these bytes. And that's basically it. What this will get you is, as we know with the Firestore, in Firebase, you're getting snapshot back. So write here const snapshot, and let's write here await. This will get you snapshot, okay? Or actually, okay, it's called upload the results in this context, okay? Maybe we should call it rather upload the result, not a snapshot. Maybe it's gonna be a little bit confusing, so I'll call it upload the result. Maybe that's a better name. Okay. Now from this upload result, then you want to get a download URL because your image in this stage, you should be already uploaded, but you would like to get a URL of this image where it's uploaded in the Firebase. Okay, so here you will call the function get a download URL and will provide your upload result in the ref. Okay? Okay, and this will get you your this will get you your download URL. So you can write a const download URL like this. And this should be promise. You can see it's a promise of rather await because it's a asynchronous function. So download URL should be string. That should be your uploaded image already. And when we have already uploaded image, what we want to do, we would like to get this download URL back to our profile model. We would like to get it back here, and we would like to store our image to our actual user object, right? To our user to update avatar, to our user update to avatar here. Here, user profile, we'd like to store it to the user profile avatar. So now, let's do the following. To the object here, we'll be passing also on success function. And on success function, we'll be getting here, we'll be passing here our URL of the image. I'll pass their URL. And simply to our self, remember we need to access here self, as of this context, will be our user profile. And we'll provide here avatar. And we'll assign here the URL we are going to save in our Firebase database. Okay, like this. In the user.js, we have download URL. We'll get here also on success, like this. And on success, we'll pass here this download URL. Oof. Okay, perfect. Now, please verify this functionality. It is very, very important here that you don't make any typos here at this stage. You have all awaits here, you have async here, and you're getting download URL. On success, you will call it on success download URL you're passing in, and this URL will get passed here, which you will store to the avatar. Now it's time to display this avatar in your template, so we are sure that we are uploading it. We'll do it back up here in our template. Here, this pen here, we'll display here any screenshot name here. We don't need it. So let's remove this pen like this, and it will create here image. So let's say let's find me the good spot here under this div, I guess. Here is a div image. All right, so under this div here, we'll create here image, which will be displaying the uploaded image. Okay, self-closed. Let's provide here class. Will be image-preview. Okay, and that's here src, and src will be our user profile dot avatar. And you want to display this image only when you have user avatar. So let's write here also if you want to display it only when you have a user avatar. Also, I'm providing here class image preview because I would like to provide here some styling. So let's save it. Go down to your styles. We don't have here any. Let's write here style. Style, scoped, and let's write here image preview. And let's write here height will be default 200 pixels. Okay, guys, everything should be set up now. We should be upload the image. We should get the avatar. This URL we are getting back to the avatar, and that's gonna be it. So let's save it, please. Let's go back to your browser. All right, let's refresh. Let's click here, update profile. You can see displaying the user profile by default image here. Choose your file. And now when it will upload here anything, it should take a few seconds maybe, because it depends on your internet speed. You should upload the image and you should display here the result as a user avatar, but nothing is happening for me. So probably, all right, and we are getting here some error, some issue. Okay, what's wrong here? All right, so there we got blocked by some reason. And it's telling me that we need to have, I think, enable Firebase storage in our Firestore. So let's go to our Firestore. I'll fast forward there. Okay, I'm getting in. You need to click on the storage here. Click on the storage. All right, and okay, storage is uploaded. Okay, let me take a look. Take me on the rules here. Okay, so let's take a look on the rules. And here is allow read and write if false. Okay, let's change it to the true for now, and let's publish it. Okay, so that's how your rules should look like now in your Firebase storage. Okay, now back here, we'll try one more time. Okay, I'll refresh just to see the empty console. Okay, upload profile, choose file, and let's write here photo. Let's provide here photo. Let's wait a second. And let's see, it'll take maybe a little bit. And yeah, here it is. The upload was successful and we are getting the image uploaded. When I will take a look here to files, I should have here my file. So it's uploaded here. You can see the file is here. And that's what we are displaying also here. That's our uploaded image. Okay, and now when I will save changes, here, it will upload this will store this URL also into our database. You can see Bob user is now this image, okay? And we'll take a look at the Firestore, and you will go to your Firestore database, and you will search here Bob user. We'll go to users, I'll search here for Bob. Where are you, Bob? This Bob, right? This Bob user. You can see avatar is now pointing to the URL of the Firebase storage, Google APIs, V0, BE exchanges, and here is the link to the image, and that's the image we have uploaded. Okay, and that's why we can access it, and we can access it at our storage here, what we have here. Perfect, so this is working. If you want, you can just debug it step by step, so you can see when you will provide this data, you will get the upload results. With the download URL, you will get the download URL. When you will call this, you will call on success with the download URL, and this will get you back here, where you will get a URL. You will store it to the user profile. So now your URL is part of the user profile avatar, and when you say when you will update the profile, this image link is getting stored into your Firestore, and that's the entire process that's working now. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this, how it works. All right, we can continue with this in the next lecture, guys, and what we can improve here, for example, is to display here some loader. Okay, so we can see the progress of image upload, because as you saw, I clicked on the upload file and I didn't know what's happening. I didn't have idea that they're uploading something. So I would like to display some progress bar, which will take me the current progress of uploading process. And yeah, if you have any questions to this functionality, feel free to ask, and let's continue with the next lecture. Cheers. Hello, welcome back here. In the last lecture, we have successfully uploaded the image to our Firebase storage. In this lecture, we'll continue with this and we'll do improvements to display the progress bar as we are uploading the image. Okay, let's start. And the first thing, we'll display the progress bar here. So let me find the image here, image input here, where is the image and the div here. I guess in between of the image and the input, I will display the progress bar. You can do it like this. You will provide here progress element like this, progress. Okay, self-closed, no, not self-closed, but opening and a closing progress. And let's provide here a couple of attributes. Let's provide here a class. We'll call it progress class. All right, and then we'll write here value. which will be the value of the current progress. Okay, so this will be actual value. So I will hard code it for now. I will here value, and the value will be, let's do it like this. I will not write here any value yet. I will go down here to our data, and we'll keep of the progress by specifying here variable. Okay, so we'll keep the track of the progress by specifying here, let's call it progress, and progress will be by default 0. Okay, and now we can use it. So we can go back to our progress here bar, and we'll provide here value of this will be our progress value. Okay, notice here directive value, which is a value for progress, and the maximum, the scale on which will be 100. This means we are going from from 0 to 100, so 100% is the maximum of the progress bar. And inside the progress will display actual value. This will be curly brackets, and it will be progress and the percentage sign. So let's take a look at this. Let's go back to browser. Let's open here, and here is progress bar. Maybe some padding on the top I would add here, some padding. Yeah, let's add here some padding or margin actually. Go to your styles, and let's access here progress class. Let's write here margin at top, let's say 15 pixels. Okay, that's good enough. Perfect. You can see this progress bar is empty now, but when you will go to your data and you will change it, for example, to 50, here it should be 50% now. You can see now it's 50%. Okay, when I will select here 75 or 76, doesn't really matter. The progress bar will be 76%. So now I can control it by specifying a progress value, but the progress value should be passed from the Firestore. So as the Firestore is uploading the image, I will be updating my progress value, and this will be updating the progress bar. So I need to update this data as I'm uploading the image. Please reset it to the 0, and it will do a huge refactor, very huge refactor. Go to your user module, and this functionality will be completely refactored, because if you want to upload bytes and you would like to keep track of them, you need to use a different function. Not the upload bytes, but go up here to the imports, but it's called upload bytes resumable, like this. Okay, so upload bytes resumable. Now let's go back here, and we'll do these changes. So we'll remove this, what we have already. All right, also on success, we'll leave here storage and the storage ref. Okay, enough. I will create here a variable. I will call it upload task. All of this you can find in the documentation of the Firebase guys, actually. Okay, and it will call here upload bytes resumable. Where you will provide your storage reference, and it will provide your bytes. That's it. Now you have an upload task. You will call the upload task, and you will specify here on function. All right, and on function will be executed as your bytes are getting uploaded. So you write here on, and you write here state changed. Okay, so upload task on a state change. State change means it will be called whenever you're uploading the bytes to the Firebase. Now I write here comma. All right, and there'll be callback function here. Callback function, so arrow function like this. Okay, now complicated part. So what we will be getting here will be the actual snapshot here. Snapshot. And now we can actually get our progress. Okay, so I can compute here progress, and progress is computed like this. So progress is a snapshot and the bytes transferred divided by the total bytes, by the snapshot total bytes multiplied by the 100. So we will wrap everything in the brackets, and it will multiply it by 100. And this will get you progress in the percentage. So remember, as I showed you total bytes of our data, so that there was like something like 527,000 of bytes. Here you are basically computing how much you already transferred, divided by the total bytes your file has, multiplied by 100, and this will get you progress, how much progress you have in a percentage. Okay, now we have a progress here, that's good, but we would like to get this progress back to our profile model. How can we do it? We can do it simply like this. We can specify here, as we're uploading the image here in a handle upload, not only on success, but we will call it on progress method. On progress. where I will call this, and I will specify it as a function. And into this function, we'll be not getting URLs here, but we'll be actually getting actual progress value. Progress, which I will get the self, and I will access here my progress. I'm keeping in a data, and I will assign here progress I am getting here from the function. Okay, this way, I can go back to my module, and I can specify here on progress. Please verify the spelling here is correct with this name here. Okay, and I will simply call it. As we are getting here in progress, I will pass the progress back to our component. And that's basically it. Okay. All right. So now we are handling progress, but we still need to handle two more cases. We need to handle here error and when the image was uploaded successfully. You can do it like this. You need two more callback functions. So let's write here comma in the end of the curly brackets and a callback function like this. And after this one, you need one more. So this callback function, what you have here, is for an error. So we can just simply, we will do simple error handling. We'll get here error. And for now, we just console log here error. And we'll pass here error.message like this. That's how we will handle it. We'll just display error if something will happen. In the case of a success, so here, this is the last block of code, is when your upload process was done. So you can use here a function you already know, get download URL. So you'll write here get download URL. And you can get here you need to get here reference to your image snapshot, and you can do it like this. You will get here upload task you have up here. You will get access here snapshot and the reference. All right, and as you know, this is an asynchronous function. So you'll write here await, and you will write here variable, let's call it const download URL. And that's what you get here. It's complaining because I can't use await. I need to first mark this function as an async here, like this. And it will get me download URL. And simply here, I can call on success finally. And I can pass here my download URL back. Okay, so that's the entire functionality, guys. So as you can see here, okay, maybe not that many lines of code more, but you need to just simply get here upload task. You need to monitor state changes. And as your state is changing, you are just simply updating the progress. This onProgress function is executed from inside of the profile model. So progress is getting here. You're uploading the progress, and you're updating your view. In the case of error, you console log error out, and in the case of success, the last block here, you will get download URL. So let's try it out, guys. Let's save it. Let's go back to our browsers, and let's get here some image, right? So to upload, let's go to Unsplash, and let's choose here whatever you want here. Okay, so image you want, let's say programming. All right, and yeah, whatever you want from here. So for example, this image here. I will open an image in a new tab. And I will select here the width of this will be, let's say just 500. Some small image for avatar, we don't need much. And the quality will be 50. Okay, I will now click here, save image as. I will save here programmer, we'll call it programmer.jpg. And we'll go back to our code, to our application. Upload profile, first I'll refresh just in case. Upload profile, choose file. This file has only 13 kilobytes, so it should be fast. Okay, maybe it will be faster than I expected, but you will see the progress. Okay, it was immediately. We uploaded the file. Let's choose something bigger, actually. Okay, so maybe I'll just revert this to the actual size of image. I'll call it programmer_large. Okay, let's see how much kilobytes is this one. Okay, so this is a 226 kilobytes. It should be a little bit longer. Okay. Let me take a look at this. I'll close this. Let's go to our application, choose file. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, also this uploaded immediately. Okay, I'm looking for something bigger. It should be uploaded in a smaller chunks. Let's go with this one. Okay, now we're going 50% and 100%. If you would have a larger file, guys, some PNG file that would be longer time to having upload, it will take longer time. So yeah, let's test. Okay, I will choose a really big image. Okay, so Unsplash, and let's go with really big image. Let's select this programming. Okay, we'll go with this image here, let's say, or this. And let's see if we can choose here some big size. There usually is a size we can choose here, original size. That should be big, right? 5,000 times 3,000. Okay, so I'll go with the original size. Save. Okay, this is a 1 megabyte 0.8. Okay, so let's try to upload it. Okay, I'll just refresh to start from a fresh. Upload profile, choose avatar, this one here, and now it should be uploaded in smaller chunks. Okay, you can see as image is getting uploaded, we can see the results. Okay, getting uploaded. All right, almost there. And then in a second, we should display also our image here. Okay, so that's how it works. Now, of course, I don't want to use this image because it's too big, so I will use this as a programmer, which will be very fast to upload. Okay, and we will save the changes. And this is my new avatar. All right, guys, so that's gonna be it from this lecture. We have finished all of the main features of our application. In the next lectures, we'll focus on the deployment of this project to the internet, so you can share it with your friends. You can use it as a school project, or you can show it to your family on the internet, not only on your local computers. So guys, I hope to see you for this in the next lecture. Cheers.
It's break time. Do you like this video? Don't forget to subscribe to get new videos. Share this video to open new premium videos and ebooks. We'll be a Starfreelancer.
Hello, welcome back. In the last lecture, we have finished upload feature. In this lecture, we'll continue with small improvements. So our application is officially done. We will not implement here any additional features. We'll just fix some of the issues I have discovered, and then I will be talking about the rules in the Firestore, and after that, we'll deploy our applications to Heroku. Okay, so let's start with the issues. First, let's open your Firestore. Go to your users, and please remove the users you are not using. Okay, so I'm using for my testing purposes only Philip and the Bob user, so I will remove the other ones I don't use. So delete document, this one. All right, and this one here, I'm not using them. Okay, and let's go to now authentication. Let's remove the users also from here if you're not using them. Okay, so test 20, I'm not using this one. Delete this account, and let's delete this account here. Okay. So now I would like to show you, not really issue, but one problem we can have in the future with the current implementation. When I will log out and I will create a new user. So okay, let's go to register and let's create a new user. So let's call it here, let's say John at gmail.com, username John, test, sign up. Okay, so we'll be testing John user. So you can see as soon as I will log in, the John user will be created, of course. I'll go to Firestore database. I should have here users and I should have here John. But you will see there is no ID on the John user because we are not storing any ID. We have a document ID, which is sufficient, but later in our implementation, I would like to have here ID because I would like to show you one thing with this. Not a big issue. Also, whenever I will update the information about the user, you will see something interesting when you will go to update profile and just update any information about the user. So let's say I am John. I'll save these changes. You will see as soon as this will happen, there will be empty exchanges array assigned to here. And also there is ID created now. Okay, so I don't want to have this unpredictable functionality. I don't want to assign ID when I don't have it. All right, so let's do the following. Let's remove the John user because I want to show you still something. So let's remove the document John user we have just created, and let's also remove it from authentication. Okay. This was just to demonstrate that we are not creating ID on the John. If you want to create ID on the John user or any user you register, go to your code and go to your store modules of the user. So store modules user.js. And let's find here when we are creating user profile. Okay, so let's find here create user profile, register, login. Where is the profile? Okay, let me Give me a second. Here we are registering, create a user with email and password. Okay, and here this page create user profile. So here it is, right? So here we are setting document with the profile only. We are not adding here ID. So when you want to add ID, just write here curly brackets like this. Okay, let's pass your profile, destructurize it, and pass your ID. And it will get your ID also created on the user. Okay, let's save it. Now we'll create John again because John was deleted. We have just deleted John before, so we'll create John again, and I will show you the another issue I have. Okay, so let's go to our browser. Let's go and let's register John again. Okay, so let's write here john@gmail.com. John, test, sign up. We will create one exchange, okay? So new exchanges, I will create exchange. So let's go to our Unsplash. We will find here some image. All right, so let's say Cano Ink. How it's spelled? Cano Ink, like this? I don't know. Or Canyon Ink. All right, so just let's write here sailing. All right, sailing. All right, this picture, let's open image in new tab. Let's get this link and let's display 1050 quality. Let's get the link, go here. Let's provide here title. So offering or sailing around the world. Okay, just some description, image link, price 500, country, Spain, city, say Malaga, text sailing. Okay, now I'll submit this. Exchange was created successfully, which is perfect. Let's take a look at our database now. Let's see. Firestore database, let's check our new user. So users, John user. Here it is, and you can see the John as an empty array. Okay, so it's initially empty array. Okay, we shouldn't have here exchanges at all at the first place because we are not storing any exchanges here. Actually, when the user is created, we are providing the empty array, but later we are not storing any exchanges. But that's the issue, because when you will go back to your application now, I will go to any page. Let's say I will go to some page here. Okay, and then I will go to profile, and I will update profile of the user. So I'll update here anything. It doesn't really matter what I will update here. So I am John user. All right, save changes. Okay, let's save it. Let's go back to database. You can see we just have added exchange to the profile. It's not a big deal because this will not cause any error or any issues, but we shouldn't store here any exchanges at all when we are updating the profile of the user. This is kind of unexpected behavior. And it's happening for one reason. If you remember in our code, when we are getting our user profile, we are getting exchanges and we are assigning exchanges to user profile. So at this point on, when the exchanges are assigned to the user profile and we are updating the profile is updated also with the exchanges together. Maybe this isn't a very good approach. Maybe you could also refactor it. But there is one solution we can do. Let's find here update profile function. Okay. And we'll write here just simply before update here, we'll write here one if statement. So we'll do this if we have a data here and data contain exchanges, so the profile we want to update, then let's write here delete data.exchanges, and this will remove this property from a data. So we'll not be updating the profile with the exchanges now at all. Okay, so let's try to like this. Let's save it now. Let's go back to your browser. Let's remove your exchanges from here. Completely get rid of it. Okay, so remove the exchanges now. Okay. Now let's go back here. Go to home page. I'll just refresh in case so everything is reloaded. Okay, I will go to any exchange. Doesn't really matter. Now you can go to the profile, and it will update profile again. So I am John user and exclamation marks here. Save changes. Profile has been updated. You can take a look here. You can see there are no exchanges created now. Okay, no exchanges here, which is perfect. Okay, I can still continue in my page. I can go to guitar lessons and I can make a deal, right? I can make a deal. I can choose here my selling around the world and still it works. But when I will go to the profile and I will change the data again, all right, it doesn't really matter. I will save changes and you will see we are not adding any exchange any longer. So verify it, please. Also refresh here so you're 100% sure that you're not adding any exchange. And we had this issue quite a while also on our other profiles with exchanges. So don't worry, you can now you can remove them. So be careful here that you're removing exchanges and not something else. So remove the exchanges here, delete it. And also on our Bob user, you can remove the exchanges from here. You can delete it from here. Perfect. All right, guys, that's gonna be it from this lecture. Oh, actually, one more thing. I almost forgot. This will be very important. That's not gonna be it for this lecture. Go to your exchanges, and somewhere here we are using collection group. You can see here a collection group we are importing, and let's see where we are using it. We are using collection group here on the pagination, collection group here again on the pagination, and collection group on the exchange query. There's one thing with the collection group we will discover in the future lectures. I will be doing some restrictions. It will not work. The restrictions I am planning to do when you're using collection group. You would use collection group, you would have a collection of data that would contain also sub-collections of other data. For now, what you can do, just simply remove collection group like this. Just leave your collection, and everywhere where you have a collection group, just write a collection, and that's gonna be it. Everything will work perfect as before. Okay, so no worries. You can save it now, and you will see. You can go back to your browser. You can preview your exchanges as before. When you will go to home page, refresh, everything will work as before. No big deal here. You can navigate next page, previous page, and everything is working just great. Okay, collection group you would use when you would have some sub collections in the collections. So we don't have it, we don't need it, and yeah, everything is working perfect without it. All right, guys. So that's gonna be it from this lecture. The next lecture will continue and I will talk about Firestore rules. So I hope to see you in the next one, guys. Cheers. In the last lecture, we have made improvements in our code. In this lecture, we'll continue with Firestore rules. Okay, so let's start and let's talk about Firestore rules. If you think of it, right now, we are not protecting the entries of our database. So anybody, if somebody can construct a query, can access our data in our Firestore database, can access our data and also can write into our collections and can change the documents because we don't have any restrictions set up here. Okay, we have some restrictions in the form of our application when we are creating exchange, we are doing some validations and so on. But if somebody is smart enough and can construct a query, basically the one can change our database completely, can access our documents and to change them. Okay, so because the user that wants to do some operations in our database just simply has to go here and just inspect what we are sending in our network tab, and it will see what queries we are sending, and it can just simply update them and provide some invalid data we don't really want to have in our database. So we don't have any protection. That's the main point here. To provide here protection, let's go to rules here, rules tab here, and here you can set up rules. You can see these are currently rules that are set up in your Firestore database. So whenever you are making a request to your Firestore database, you're accessing data, updating data, reading data, this is being checked. Currently, you are matching here all of your documents in your database, and you are allowing read and write if the request time is smaller than 26th of February 2022. Of course, for you, it can be different date. This means this is for testing purposes. So you can access my documents, you can read them, you can write into them until 26th of February. And if there will be later time after that, you cannot access my database at all. And also, my application will not work at all. Oops, I just closed it. All right. Okay, so let's see what will happen if I will completely change this rule. I will remove this rule, and I will write here if false. Just hardcode here false, and let's publish this. This will cause that all of my documents cannot be accessible. Also, you cannot write them. I cannot write into my documents. So I will go here, I will refresh. My application will not load at all. I'll go here, and I will see in a console error, Firebase error, missing or insufficient permissions. And you're seeing this error because of this. So if I will hardcode here true, now everybody for forever can access our documents and can write them and can change them. Okay, because as you know, when we are getting our data, you can see we are always making some requests to the Firestore. And if somebody is smart enough, they can create such a request by themselves and can change the data and can access our data. Okay. So for this, we will create the protections here. Let's go back here to the Firestore. And when you want to target specific documents in your database, you need to specify here these patterns. Okay, so currently we are matching on it all of the documents. I will remove it, and I will start matching all of our collections and all the documents in the collections. So let's write here match like this. And what collections you have in your database? We have 3 collections. Remember, we have users, we have exchanges, and we have opportunities. So first match will be matching users, and will be matching all of our users. Okay, so you can write here users, and you can write here also, as we had it placeholders before, like this, document equal ***, or you can write here, if you want to use the variable, you can write here curly brackets, and you can write here user ID. Okay, this is used as a placeholder for any of your document. And then you can also, when you're writing you want to change your data, and you want to change, for example, user profile, when this is being checked, you can also access the user ID here. I will show it to you later on example, but basically with this, we can check all of our users documents. We can write here rules for it. Let's write here curly bracket, and let's write here allow read, comma, write, and for now, let's write here true for everything. Okay? Now you will copy it and you will paste it 2 more times, and you will match also your exchanges. It will be exchange ID, and also all of your opportunities, and opportunity ID. Make sure it is correct here. Okay. All right. When you will save this, let's publish this. This can take a few seconds to get published. Okay, when you will go to database, everything should work as before. When you will go to application, you can see, you can go to your profile, you can see here opportunities if you would have some. All right, let's see, actually, let's our Philip user. I will log in as Philip user, so test, gmail.com, test. Actually, that's my Bob user. I will go with the Philip. I'll go to my profile. I will see everything is working as before. We have our opportunities. But if I would go here, and I would write here to opportunity here, I would write here false. I would publish it like this. You would see now, when I will go here, I will refresh, there will be no opportunities because I don't have a rights to access them. You can see console, there will be error. I can still access my exchanges because they are not affected because they are now set to true, but my opportunities are false. So that's wrong. Let's revert this and let's leave everything to true, and that will be the introduction to rules. Remember, with the rules, you can protect your database, but you're writing to the database specifically. You can specify any collection, any document, and you can provide specific rules. By writing here a placeholder for each document, user ID, exchange ID, opportunity ID, we are covering all of the documents in the specific collections. So we are covering all of the exchanges, of the opportunities and users. So when somebody wants to write into them or read them, we are allowing it because it's true. In the next lecture, I will show you how you can provide more grained control to this. So I hope to see you guys in the next one. Cheers. In the last lecture, I've introduced you Firestore rules. In this lecture, we'll continue with this and we'll provide here some more control. Okay, let's begin. And the first thing what we are going to do will be to provide a restriction when we are creating exchange. Okay, so let's do it like this. Go to your rules, and here we have exchanges, right? Currently, we are saying the read and write is true. So let's separate it a little bit. Let's write here only read will be true. Okay, but write, let's write here allow write will be false. What does it mean? When I will publish this row, and I will try to write into my database. So I will go to exchange area, I will create a new exchange. Doesn't really matter what exchange. So some new exchange, all right. Some new exchange description. It doesn't matter because it will not work anyway. Price 600 countries, Slovakia, Bratislava, tax, sailing, it doesn't matter. I'll open here console so you can see it. I'll clear it out. I will submit. When I will submit this, you will see missing or insufficient permissions. Okay, so we cannot now write into our database. Of course, that's not something we want, because if we want to allow to our authenticated users to write into database, so we need to prevent here something. All right, so we need to provide here some more grained control. We don't want to hardcode here false. What we want to do here instead is to check if user is authenticated. If user is authenticated, then the user can create exchanges. So instead of hardcoding here false, you will simply write here if request dot out dot UID is not equal to null. Okay, so that's something you can get when you are making the request to the write to the exchange. So you're basically saving here. You're sending the request to the Firebase. Firebase here, you will get a request and it can detect if the user that making a request is authenticated. And that's basically mean when the user ID, UID is not null. That means when the user is authenticated, you can save this now, and now you should be able to make the request, and you are checking if you're authenticated. So when I will go here now, and I will create this exchange. Actually, I will choose here some different image, right? Because now it will work, and we're already using this exchange. I will go with something else. Let's say this one image. All right. Okay, let's get here with only 1000 and this quality 50. Okay, and I will get it here. Now I should be able to create exchange. So let's just simply submit. And now we are set. So you can see now only authenticated users in our application can create new exchanges. Yeah, let's stop it here. Very simple improvement. Let's continue in the next lecture. Cheers. In the last lecture, we have created a new rule in Firestore. In this lecture, we'll continue with this, and I will show you how you can simplify it and how you can reuse this. Okay, let's begin. So what we have done, we are checking if the user is authenticated. User is authenticated that if the request out UID is not equal to null. I am planning to provide this rule also to our users and also to our opportunities. This means we'll be reusing this, and for this reason, we can, for example, create here function. Normally, as in JavaScript, you write your function like this. Okay, you can call this function, let's say, is logged in. Okay, and you will just simply return from here, request out UID is not equal to null. And that's it. Now you have a function, you can call it. And this function is basically checking what you have already implemented down here, right? So now you can get a function, and you can, instead of request out UID is not equal to null, you can just get a function and you can call it like this. And yeah, this should work. And now we can provide also this rule to all of our other entities. For example, exchanges should be allowed to read always. So also our users that want to visit our website and they are not authenticated, we should allow them to read exchanges. Write exchanges can only authenticated users. And now, opportunities and the users features is something that should be allowed only for logged in users. So here, instead of if true here, let's write here if is logged in users, and if opportunities, if is logged in, and let's call this. So like this. Now let's publish this, and we'll be checking now. Let's take a look. Let's get back here, let's refresh. And then you will be able to see your home page. That's okay. But most important here is to go to profile page. And if you see here opportunities, everything is working for you good. If you're able to update profile, then all is good. Save changes. Yeah, all is good. All right, guys. So that's another rule. Okay, so we just simply wrapped what we have already into the function call, and now we are checking also for our other documents here. Okay, guys, so if any questions, feel free to ask. We'll continue with this in the next lecture. Cheers. And hello, guys. Welcome back in the new lecture. In the previous one, I have showed you how you can create functions in Firestore rules. In this lecture, you'll continue and will provide more grained control to our exchanges. Okay? So so far, we are checking here for write if the user is only logged in, but I would like to check if the user is providing a data for the title, description, image, and if the title is longer than 10 characters and the price is larger than 0. Of course, we are doing these checks here in a new exchange, but let's say that the programmer or somebody on our website is smarter, and it can the user can preview in the network the request and can create a new request with the larger titles or minus or negative prices. They can overcome this form validation. They can just simply send the request, they authenticate it, and the user can change the database if you don't have a rules for it. But if you will write your rules in a Firestore site, and if the data will come here and they will be not correct, then we will decline the data. I'll show you. So if you want to target here the request data for the write, you will write it like this. We'll be checking for following. If user is logged in, I'll write a new line like this. Okay, end operator. And I will be writing a request. Request, resource, data, and now title. And that's it. That's our data of the title we'll be sending through our form. So when you will make a request through the Firestore from your form, data will come here into your rules. On the resource data title, you can check your title data you are sending from your title form. Okay, and here you can check the title length is actually first let's check if the data are string. Okay, we'll write is string, and this check if the data are string and if they are provided. Okay, then I will copy this, I will paste it here, and the other check will be the title dot size like this is larger than 10. This will check if the data title we are providing is larger than 10 characters. Okay, let's copy this and we'll go with the data description. Make sure you're not making any typos. That's very important. And I'll write here is string as well. So we'll be checking if the description is provided. We'll continue with this. We'll check if the image is provided and it's string. Then we'll check for the price. We'll check if the price is number. You can do it like this if the price is number. And then we'll check if the price is larger than 10. You can do it like this if the price is larger than 0, actually, not the 10. Then I will copy here the string check again, and I will be checking here for country and city. We'll check here if the country is provided, and I will check here if the city is provided, and that will be the last check. And semicolon here. Okay, now we can verify it. So let's publish this rule. Okay, and for a second, make sure everything is correct here. That's very important. And for a second, go to your code, go to your exchange, to your form, create form. Okay, so let's go to pages, exchange create, and for a second we'll disable our required validators. Actually not required, but the longer than 10 characters validator. So this one for the min length for a title. Let's comment it out for a second. Okay, so you don't have min length validator. For this, you need to go up here on the code, and you need to remove it also from here because it will complain. Okay, now let's save it and let's try to create exchange. So when I will go here, and let's provide here, please, shorter title. Let's write here short title, just a short. Okay, I'll write here some description. Doesn't really matter. Price 200, country Slovakia, Bratislava. Okay, that doesn't really matter what I'm writing here. And let's provide here image. So image can be this one. You will see when this will be run, when you will make a request to Firestore to save this data, this will not work for the reason that the title will be shorter than 10 characters. So this rule will be failing here. It actually will be passing and our data will be failing. So I'll submit. You can see actually it's not getting hit anywhere. So submit and it will be missing or insufficient permissions here. Okay, so you can see the check is passing correctly. We can provide here a longer title than 10 characters. Let's say short or long title now. All right, when it will be longer than 10 characters, let's write here submit. Now you should be able, yeah, and now it's working. You can see now we are checking on the Firestore side. We are not checking on the form side. The form is fine, but when the data are sent to the Firestore, we are checking it here. Okay, and that exchange we have just created, let's remove it. It's not nice. We didn't really provide there any reasonable data, so let's please find it. Okay, there it is. It will be a long exchange, right? So title, some new exchange. Also some new exchange we don't really need. Let's delete this. Okay, I will just delete the data we don't really want to have here. Okay, scooter we want, Tesla car we want, short, here it is, short we want to delete. Okay, I'll check the other data just in case. All of them should be good. Sailing, cycling, okay, that's fine. Okay, so now we have a restriction for our exchange as we are creating it, which is great, and we will continue to provide these checks also to our other data. So I hope to see you guys in the next lecture. Cheers. In the last lecture, we have improved our exchanges rules. We have updated our write rule to check if the data we are sending are correct. Let's continue this lecture and let's improve now our user rules. Okay, let's begin. And what I would like to check here for is that when we are updating our user, we are sure that the user that updating its profile is actually currently logged in user. And also when we are creating the user profile, I would like to make sure the user that is authenticated is creating the profile. Okay, I know, sounds confusing, but let me first implement it and then we'll talk about it. Currently, you can see the read and write is for logged in, if you are logged in. What you can do with the write, you can break down the write for 2 additional roles. You can create here a role to check if you are updating the data and when you are creating the data. Because this, oops, where we are, I have just removed everything. Not very good, okay. So this role here, write, is covering both. It's covering create of the data, and also it's covering the update of the data. So now it's fine. Whenever we are creating or updating the user, we are checking we are logged in and all is fine. But I would like to provide here more grained control. So let's do it like this. I'll remove the write here and write here allow. I will check here if we are creating the data. Again, we want to check if we are logged in. Of course, this is for sure. We want to have it here. Logged in actually like this. And also we'll check here for if we are updating the data, so for update. So now we have break down the write to the 2 additional roles, to create and to update. It's exactly the same as before, the write rule covering the both cases. But now I would like to provide here more grained control. So I want to do here, to create, I will provide here end operator, and I will check here, I will write like this actually, like this. And I will check here if the request, this will be maybe a little bit complicated for a beginning. Let's me first write it and then we'll talk about it. If the request .out.uid is equal, zoom it out, to request resource data.id. Okay, I will copy this second part. All right, and let's write here again on the new line end operator. Let's change here this rule, and here I'll be checking for not the request, but the resource data ID. Okay, so what I am saying here, whenever we are creating the profile, when we are creating the profile we are creating when we are registering the user, right? So when we are registering a user, we are creating the profile automatically. You can see it here, right? When I will go to actually, don't mind these rules txt. I'm just preparing this file for you so you can copy it later. So don't worry if you don't have this file. Let's go to our users, and you see when we are registering the user, let's find the register. We are creating here user profile, right? And we are sending all of this data. Part of one data is the ID here. You can see we are providing here an ID in a create user profile. And this ID we are sending also later in the request. Therefore, we are checking if the currently logged in user, that is the request out.uid, is matching the data ID we are sending in the request. Okay, so that's the data that's being sent from us to the Firestore. Remember, anything what's on the request is the data we are sending to the request. Okay, so that's the data that's being sent from our application to the Firestore. Update. Update is happening whenever we are updating our profile, right? So we are going to profile and we are updating the profile. This is when we are updating the data. And here we are checking if the user is logged in, and the currently logged in user ID, which is the request out UID, is matching the resource data.id. Okay, so this means if the user, actually, let's first publish it so I can navigate to the other tab. Publish this, and let's go to the data here. Okay, it's taking a little bit longer now. Okay, just give it a second. Okay, now. So for example, let's say Philip user is updating its profile. So let's go to the users here, the collection of the users. Okay, users here. And my Philip user, let's find it. My internet is, again, very slow. So let's find here Philip user. So the user I'm currently logged in. This is a Bob user. Let's go to the Philip user. Okay, so let's say the Philip is updating its profile, right? So I'm philip@gmail.com. I'm updating my profile. I will save the changes. It will update the profile. So I want to update this, right? So I want to update the document when the ID is my own ID. I don't want to update any other profiles. I want to update where my document ID is matching my ID. And this is exactly what this check is saying in this role. This check here is saying if the request UID, so the currently authenticated user UID, is matching resource data ID. So that's the resource means, that's the data that's being already stored in the Firestore. And there we are checking the ID. Okay? Okay, I will show it one more time. I will just open here new tab so you can see it better, because it can be a little bit confusing here. Okay, let's click here on data, users. Okay, so I'm currently logged in as a Philip user, and I want to update my user fields here. Okay, I'm sending here data, and I'm verifying if I'm logged in. I am definitely logged in, but I need to also verify if my request out UID, so the request of UID I'm sending, is matching the resource data ID. So since I'm updating, for example, this resource, the resource ID will be this one here. So I will check if they are matching. Okay, so that's it. If you have any doubts here, really feel free to ask. So remember, requests are data we are sending, resources are data we are going to update, and they are already stored in the Firestore. That's what we are checking now. Okay, guys, this rule is already published, so we are going to test it out. So go to your application and let's try to update your data. So let's say Philip user, let's save changes, and we should be able to update it. Yes, and it's working. Perfect. Okay, so this is working. Also, let's one more thing. We'll try to create a completely new user. Let's go to login, register. Let's create here Kate. This is actually email, right? So this will be kate@gmail.com. Kate. All right, and password 12 or test. It doesn't really matter. Test. Let's sign up. Okay, we have been created the user. Let's take a look here. In the users, we should have a new user. Here is a Kate. Let's try to update some of the informations, profile, update data, some address. I am Kate user. All right, save changes. Let's take a look here, and yeah, data has been saved. Okay, yes, we are still saving the exchanges, but we are saving them, but we are creating the profile, and they are empty, so that's not a big deal. We can still remove it from the creation. Okay, all is good here, guys. I really hope that you understand this rule here. Is logged in, it should be cleared. Request out UID, you should be clear as well. Only notice the differences here. That's the data we are sending to the Firestore request. That's the data that already stored in the Firestore database. So when we want to check when we are updating the data, so if the existing data are matching, and here when we are creating, we want to make sure if the data we are sending are matching. That's gonna be it from this lecture. We'll continue in the next one. Cheers. In the last lecture, we have updated our users rules. We are checking if the user is authenticated and if the IDs are matching. Let's continue with the last rules, and that will be our opportunities rules. Okay, let's begin. Let's go to your match, and we'll be, again, breaking down the write rule. We'll be breaking it up into the create and update rule. So let's remove the write, and let's write here allow, create. A create will be same if we are logged in. So if user is logged in, then it can create opportunity. All right, if it's logged in, perfect. Now we'll write a update rule. This will be much more complicated. Let's write here allow update. Okay, I'll create here some more spacing so it's more visible for you. Allow update, and in the allow update, we'll be first checking if we are logged in, of course, if it's logged in. Okay, and operator, and we'll be checking for additional two things. We'll be checking if we are updating the date of the opportunity and if we are sending the accepted or declined status. Okay, so make sure you understand this. We are updating our opportunity when we are accepting or declining opportunity. That's what's happening, right? So let's log out and let's look into some user that has some opportunities. For example, my Philip user has opportunities. So I've logged in philip@gmail.com, test, and let's go to your profile page. Okay, so you can view, when you view the deal and accept deal or decline deal, you're basically updating your already created collection of the opportunity and you want to change the status to accepted or decline. That's what you are doing here. And that's considered as the update. If you're not sure what's the update operation or create operation, go simply to your code. And you can see here when whatever you are doing. Here you are getting a document. That's a read operation. Okay? Here you are adding documents. That's a create or write operation. Update operation would be considered to be update somewhere. So for example, go to your update, not here. Go to your, for example, users, and here should be some update, right? Update document. Okay, so update document, that's considered as a update operation. And you have also on the opportunity. So when you will go to opportunity, you can see it's an update document. That's considered as an update operation. You are sending here a status of accepted or declined. All right. Okay, so that's when you are not sure what operations you are doing, but you can see it now. It's either get, which is a read, it's an update, which is update, and create or add document is a write rule. Okay, so these will be considered when we are accepting or declining as an update rule. And you want to update opportunity only when we are accepting it or declining it. So what we want to check here for, let's write here normal brackets, and let's write here if the request of the resource .data .status, because that's what you are sending, right? We want to update the status of the opportunity. That's what you are updating here on the opportunities. You're updating the status, okay? And the status what you are sending is equal to accepted, or the same line, I will copy this, or the status is equal to declined. Okay, so you are allowed to update your opportunity only when you are sending the data of the status accepted or declined. Only then you can update the opportunity. Only then you can change the state of the opportunity if this condition is met. So either you're accepting or declining the opportunity. So the request you are sending, this will happen when you click here accept or decline. You will send this request of the data status is accepted or declined. That's the first thing. Other condition will be much more complicated. What we want to check here, if the currently logged in user, which is accepting or declining opportunity, is also a receiver of the opportunity. What does it mean? So if the opportunity to user is matching to the ID of currently logged in user, okay? Because not every user can accept or decline opportunity. Only currently logged in users can accept opportunity or decline, but also the users that they are receivers of this opportunity, okay? So we need to make sure if our user is a receiver of this opportunity. Okay, how can we do it? This will be complicated. Okay, I'll write here end operator in the end, so end operator, and it will do this, like it will do it like this. You will check here for a resource data to user. Okay, you can see I'm not checking for the request. I'm checking for the data I already have in a Firestore, saved in Firestore. I'm checking if that this to user here is matching. And now this will be complicated because what we are getting here is we have a reference. The to user is a reference. So when you want to compare the references, you need to write your path. You need to call it. This is a Firestore function. And you need to provide here full path to your reference, to your user reference. So basically you need to write here like this, slash databases, it will be very long, databases slash normal brackets default slash documents slash your collection users slash now plus, okay, that's a path, and this will be your currently logged in user UID. So this will be a request out.uid and semicolon in the end. So this will check if the user that's currently logged in is also a receiver of the opportunity and the user can accept it. And also if the user is sending accepted status or declined status, so it's accepting or declining the opportunity. That's very important. If something is not clear in this line, make sure you understand it. If it's hard to write or maybe have some typos, you can also check the resources of this lecture. The code is included there and you can just copy paste it. Okay, make sure you're not making any typos here because it is very important. Now publish this rule. Click here publish, and now we should be able to accept or decline opportunity. Okay, so if we are able to do it, then everything is good and we are checking correctly. So please go here, click here accept, and when you can accept, everything is working. Okay, so this is working. Let's try to decline it. Okay, so let's go to your opportunities into your database, find the opportunity you just have accepted. Here, the first one, I will change it to pending again. Pending. I will refresh here on our application. I will try to decline it. Okay, decline. Okay, opportunity was declined. Perfect, so this is working. It should be declined here. Yeah, declined. Okay, so our checks are working, guys, and officially we have finished all of the Firestore rules here. Of course, you can make also more rules, you can have more controls, but I will leave it up to you whatever you want to implement here. Always check the documentation. It's very good written in the Firestore, so you can search for all the rules you need. That's gonna be it. In the next lecture, we'll be continuing with the deployment process. So I hope to see you guys in the next one. Cheers. Hey guys, welcome back in the new lecture. In the last few lectures, we have been working on the Firestore rules. In this lecture, we'll continue back in our applications and we'll be improving a couple of things. Okay, let's begin. Go to our code. And what I want to change will be the values of our Firestore database. So go to your database folder, DB folder. Let's go to your index.js. And these values here, I'd like to move into the environment variables. Okay? So they will be not exposed like this because later in the lectures, in the next few lectures, we'll be working also on the GitHub repository. We'll be pushing our code, what we have into the GitHub repository, and these values will be visible for anyone that can visit your GitHub repository. That's not a big issue, not that big issue really, because these variables will be visible anyway. These ones are client variables that can be visible in your code, and if somebody is good enough and they can check the network request in your applications, they can figure it out, these variables anyway, but it will be better practice to have them separate in its own file. Okay? So for this, guys, we'll go into our root directory, and in a root directory, we'll create here a new file called .env.local. Okay, by the way, this rules.txt here I have just only for you, so you can find it in a GitHub repository. If you check the resources, you don't need to have this file. I already told about it before, so just reminding you. Okay, so in our env.local, we will create all of these variables we have here. So please copy them all like this, and let's paste it into your env local like this. Okay, we need to do here some changes because this is not a format that's allowed in environment variables. So in environment variables, all of the letters will be uppercased. So API key will be, for example, API_key. Okay? You can see the words are separated by the underscore. Now, instead of a column, because this is not an object, you will write an equal sign, and you will remove the quotation signs around, and also comma in the end. That's very important. You need to remove comma everywhere in the end of each value. Okay, and we'll continue. We'll go with the out_domain. Okay, again, remove the column, remove the quotation signs, and remove the comma and quotation signs in the end, and continue like this. Okay, so project_ID, again, column, remove the quotation signs in the end and a comma, and then storage buckets. Storage bucket equals sign here, remove quotations, and this in the end. Messaging sender ID, I'll just call it sender and ID sender underscore ID. Quotation signs here, quotation here, comma, and up ID, up underscore ID. Okay, and the quotation signs here. Okay, so your values should look roughly like this. Make sure really you don't have a quotation signs, there are equal signs, and the commas are removed in the end of each word. There is one thing we need to also prefix our environment variables with, and that's a Vue up keyword. Okay, so we need to prefix it with a Vue underscore up underscore like this. Okay, in order for these variables to be found in your code, they has to be prefixed with a Vue underscore up. That's a requirement. Okay, so now we need to copy this front part, Vue up, and let's paste it to all of your variables. Okay, so you have here a Vue up API key, Vue up out domain, Vue up project ID, Vue up storage bucket, Vue up sender ID, Vue up ID. Okay, that's what you have to have. Okay, if we have this done, now we'll go to our index.js and we'll be replacing values by this. You can get here globally something called process.env and the name of your variable. So in the case of an API key, we would like to get here a variable of our Vue up API key. I will copy it from here and I will paste it simply here. Okay, now I will copy this line and I will paste it to all of my values. Here, 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 okay, here, and in the up ID here. And of course, you need to replace the variable name. So in the out domain, I would like to copy here Vue up out domain. Okay, now the project ID. I will continue the project ID. All right, Vue up project. Project ID. Okay, and here will be storage bucket. So here will be storage bucket, and here a sender ID. Okay, so sender ID, and here will be Vue up ID. Vue up ID. So like these guys. Okay, that's all the changes you should have now. Please compare this. Compare your values. Okay. Okay, now you can go to terminal. To changes to take effect, you need to now rerun your application. So please shut this down and let's run it. Okay, so npm run serve, and will be run in your localhost. Then everything is fine, and we can continue with the next lecture. Okay, let's refresh here. Let's go to localhost 8080, and you can see I can normally preview my application. So I'm logged in as a Philip user, and everything is working for me. New exchanges, about, home, profile, all of it is here. Perfect. Okay, so that's gonna be it from this lecture. One more thing, guys, I almost forgot. Go to your code. If you have initialized your application with the Vue CLI, you should have here also git ignore file. You can see here is a git ignore. And very important things here to note is that the env files are hidden, or actually they are blacklisted, so they will be not added into your GitHub repository if you will push your code. So you can see, for example, node modules. It's a little bit grayish color here. Node modules env.local. If it's not gray for you, no big deal, because maybe you didn't set up GitHub repository yet, and I will go through these steps with you in the next lecture. So don't worry. If it's not gray for you, it's no worries here. Just notice here in a git ignore, you should have here, for example, node modules, this folder, env files you should have here, and so on. And that's why for me it's great. If it's not for you, no worries, we'll be setting up also GitHub repository for you in the next lectures. So that's just what I wanted to say. We can continue next lecture, and we will create production server. So see you. Cheers. Hello guys, welcome back here. In the last lecture, we have set up environment variables in env.local file, and we have provided them into our database configuration. Let's continue this lecture and let's talk about the production server. Okay, so take a look in your terminals, and you will see on your terminal there is something up is running at HTTP localhost 8000 AD. And at localhost 8000 AD, your computer is running development server. That's why we are running npm run serve, the starting development server, and it's serving the files to us what we are working with. basically our entire SRC folder. That's our application. It's compiling the files for us, and it's creating the JavaScript file from it and serving to our browsers. And also it's watching our SRC folder when we are doing changes. For example, when I will do here some change in a pages folder, let's say in a home.vue, and I will write here console log. I will not save it yet, all right? I will not save it, but let's take a look what will happen here. I'll save this, and you can see it is there for a brief of a second. You could see here compiling. It has been rebuilded, and new build was served to your browser automatically. I'll draw it here so maybe you have a better idea. Okay, so you can imagine this entire environment here. This is your computer. Okay, this is your computer. Okay, that's your PC. Okay, on the port 8080 is running development server, so I'll call it here. Okay, this is a part of your computer. At the port of 8080, there is a Vue JS development server, so I can call it Vue dev server, Vue development server. Okay. Here you are in your browser. Okay, so here will be a representation of your browser. Okay, here let's say here is your browser. You want to display some pages, right? So here's some window. All right, you want to display your page. Okay, and you are typing here URL too. Okay, so here is your browser. So in the browser, I'm saying, when I'm going to my browser, I'm providing here HTTP localhost 8080, right? And it's basically making a request to our port 8080 here. So browser is making a request, okay, to 8080. Okay, and by the default, Vue JS development server is responding to it. Okay, so what is our server serving us? What pages is serving us? Development server is serving us index.html page. I can show it to you. When I will go here, I will inspect it. So right click here and inspect. All right, it will be a lot of things here you will see, but by default, when you will refresh, you will see the development server is serving us index.html page. Here is this. When you take a look at the response, that's your HTML page. Okay, you can see there is a script that should serve also some of the scripts, for example, chunk vendors.js, app.js, and so on. And here you can see these JavaScript files that have been served, and that's basically your application. That app.js is your entire representation of your application. So this app.js you see here, that's what you have, all of it in your SRC folder. Okay, so for example, if I will search here for exchange current page, I should find it in this build. You can see it's part of my JavaScript file. Okay, so when you are making a request, the Vue.js is responding to you with your HTML. All right, it's rendering in the browser, then your app.js. All right, and we could see something like a vendor.js, the third-party packages we have installed, and it's all of it's executed in a browser, and it's run there. Okay. Additionally, Vue.js development server is watching the changes we are doing in SRC folder. So when we are working, I want to mark it as a part of our computer, but when we are doing changes in our SRC folder in our application, it's watching the changes we are doing, and basically it's recompiling the new file, and it's serving us again the new JavaScript file, and this is happening at the real time. So we don't need to refresh the browser even. We are seeing the changes. Okay, so it's watching the SRC folder for us. Okay, that is configuration very good for a development environment, but it will be not good enough for our production environment. Okay, because in a production environment, we will not have this part here at all. In a production environment, we'll be connecting to the remote server. So there will be some server. Oops. There will be some server remotely, somewhere in the US or somewhere in the Europe, just other computer, on which again there is some application running on some port. Okay, let's say port. I don't know, guys. Some port. Say port 9000. I don't really know on which the port will be running it. But there will be our production server, so our small application. All right, so it will be production server. Production server. All right, and the responsibility of production server will be simply when I will make the request to the production server. It will be again a response with our HTML file and our production and our JavaScript file. So it will be sending us back our HTML, JavaScript, CSS, and all of these will be sending to our browsers. That will be the production server running on a different port and actually under some specific domain. Okay, and the production server will be not watching any files here, because what the production will have only here will be our already built application. Okay, so production server will be just serving us HTML and JavaScript files we have already provided to the production server. So there will be no rebuilding process. So that will be the difference between the development server, which we are working locally on our computers, which is watching SRC folder and it's serving us always the new files we need. And different between the development production server, which will be running somewhere remotely on different port and will be serving us already pre-built application. I can show it to you. Okay, so as you could saw here, that's the three most important files what we are seeing here: index.html, all right, JavaScript file, and a chunk vendors.js. That's three important more files, because that's basically our application compiled from our SRC folder. Your browser doesn't speak the Vue JS language, so all these files has to be compiled into the normal JavaScript. That's handled behind the scenes for us. Okay, let's do following, guys. Go to your terminals, let's shut down your servers, and let's run here npm run build command. That's available in a Vue JS CLI, and you will see your application will be built for production. Okay, and we will see what will happen when it will be built for production. You can see 4 files was created for you in a dist folder. Okay, actually 2 files, I guess. Oh no, 4 files. All right, 4 files. Everything in a dist folder. When you will take a look in a dist folder, here now it was created for you, you will notice you have here a CSS file. That's all of your CSS minified and uglified into the one big file without any spaces and lines. Okay, everything is together. You see, it's not very nice to read, but it will be, the file size will be smaller. Then you have here JavaScript files. Okay, some additional files you have here. These ones are the most important one, app.js and chunk vendors.js. That's what you will be serving to your browser. Okay, and index.html, that's the file that is served first into your browser. And part of this is a script files and links that linking to your CSS files. Okay, CSS, JavaScript, app.javascript, and vendors JavaScript. That's the most important. And we need to create a production server that will understand that we have a files in a dist folder. It will be not serving it from SRC folder. It will be different server. It will just take these files we have already built, our complete application, and it will be serving it as to our browser. So we need to only care about this folder here, because that's basically a representation of our SRC folder. That's a representation of all of our built Vue.js files. So, and we need to serve into our browsers. Okay, this has to go to our browsers. Browser. Okay, perfect. I think now it's pretty clear. And we'll create this server like this. We'll go first, install 2 packages. By the way, guys, about the servers and this stuff, you don't need to know really. This is just to get it working. If you're interested about the servers and understanding how this works in the behind the scenes, I have a free full course you can check. Okay, so if you're interested into these understandings, just check my full course about this. Okay, what we need to install is 2 things. We need to install Express. This part of is actually made in a Node.js, so it's not normal JavaScript code which you have in the browser, but it's part of the Node.js. And this is just simply framework for making the servers. Okay, and then you need also serve static, serve-static. That's the 2 packages you need, Express and serve static. While this is installing, go to your code, create here a server folder. Normally in your root folder, create here a server folder, so new folder, server. In a server folder, create a new file called index.js. That's it. Now go to your, take a look here in the terminal if it's still installing. If it is, you can wait for it until it's finished. And in a resources of this lecture, so go to resources of this lecture, you will find this link. Stop the video, go to resources, and you will find this link, server index.js. Okay, if you are here, you can just copy simply everything. Go to your code and paste it here. I used to write it from line by line with my students, but it's really redundant. Really, if you want it, you can just copy it. It is the simplest possible Express server. You can also copy from official Express documentations. What's happening here, I will explain you one line after another. So basically, if you're in a Node.js environment, so you don't want to run this code in the browser, this code will be not running in the browser. This will not go at all to your browsers here, okay? It will be run in your computers, in your terminals here, okay? So you can see in your Node.js, you cannot use import statements. You can use only require. So you are importing Express from the Express, the modules, serve static, path is globally available to you. Basically, what is happening here, we are creating Express application. We are telling to the Express application to listen to app path, or actually to serve the files from the app path, which is a path, our directory name. So our directory name is the current directory we are in, this index.js server folder. Outside of this directory, this dot means it could go outside of the server folder, and dist folder is this dist folder here you can see. So basically I'm saying here to serve all of my static files in a dist folder, so my Vue.js application. This app.get, this asterisk here is as a placeholder, so when I will go on my specific port where my application will be running, I'll be serving back my index.html file. Okay, so when I will go to my application, I'll be serving this folder index.html file. Okay, and here in the last line, it's basically creating the port. By the default, it's 3000. That's what will be running on our local computer. But when we'll develop, when we'll go to the remote environment Heroku, for example, which is a remote server that's outside of our computers, Heroku is defining its own port under this environment variable. So we will take the environment variable of the port in a remote environment. So on our local computer, this is the local will be 3000. In a remote will be whatever is defined on the remote computers where we'll be deploying our application. Okay, so, and here we are listening to the server. That's the last line. We are listening to the server on the specific port. And when we'll make a request in our browsers, this will be serving index.html file and the rest of our static files. And guys, that's basically it. I know, longer lecture, but I need to explain you these basics. And again, if you're interested into this basic stuff, check my free full course. Okay, so that's done, guys. Make sure in your terminals everything has been installed. If yeah, that's good. And you can continue now in your code. You can go to your package.json, and you will specify here a new script up here. You can copy this one, and you will rename the serve for start. It will be your start script, and the command you will be running will be not Vue CLI service serve, but it will be node, and you will specify the file path to your index.js file in a server folder. So you will specify here server/index.js. Now when you will run this, then you will be serving your production files from this folder. Okay, from this folder. Let's try it out. Go to your terminal, clear it out. First, you want to run always npm run build. Okay, we already had build, but if you do some changes in your application, you want to always pre-build it, so you are working with the latest build, with the latest files, with the latest features you have created in the src folder, because this is created from the src folder. Now we can clear it out, and you will run here npm start. You can see now you are running server on port 3000, not on a port 8080. So that's a port 3000 we have defined in our code here, port 3000. Now when you will go to your browser, you can change here freely to the localhost 3000, okay? Localhost 3000, and it will be exactly the same application as you have. And you can see here what we are serving. We are serving localhost, which is our index.html file. This is the entire HTML file that specifies the parts we need to import. You can see that the CSS files we need to provide here. That's our Bulma, for example. That's our CSS files. Our app.js, our JavaScript files, and a chunk vendors.js, which is our third-party libraries we have installed. And that's our application made in the JavaScript. That's what you can see here, and everything should work as you have created it. So you have a pagination, everything. You can create exchanges. You can preview them, you can log in, register, and all of this is working for you. You can have a want to log in with my test users. It will work normally as before. Okay, but benefit of this architecture, guys, is that now we can deploy our applications to some remote server, and on the remote server, our production server, what we have created, will be running, and it will be serving our dist folder. And that's basically it. Okay, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. We'll continue in the next lecture, and we'll be continuing with the deployment process. Cheers.
It's break time. Do you like this video? Don't forget to subscribe to get new videos. Share this video to open new premium videos and ebooks. We'll be a Starfreelancer.
In the last lecture, I've been talking about the setup of our applications. I have explained the production server, and we have created one. Let's continue this lecture. Let's set up a couple of things and then deploy our applications to Heroku. Okay, so what we need to do first, I'll write it down so I will not forget about it. So we need to install the Git CLI, all right, Git command line interface. Then we need Heroku CLI in order for a deployment to Heroku. Then we need to register for Heroku, and we need to create a GitHub repository for our applications. Okay, let's start with the installation of a Git CLI and Heroku CLI. Okay, so go to your browsers. Okay, and we'll just search here for a Git CLI download. Git CLI download. I will go with the simplest way possible for you. So we'll go to this website, git-scm.com. All right, you can choose your system. Okay, Windows, macOS, Linux, whatever you are currently on. I'm of course on the macOS. So we'll go to download Mac, and here should be installer. I will go with the binary installer, so it's easier for us also. If you're on a Windows, you should have an installer here, just a simple exe file or some file. You can just install it automatically for you. So we'll go with the installer here. I'll click here, download. Okay, this will start shortly, and it will download the Git CLI. In the meantime, okay, I'll choose here. Okay, Git CLI, perfect. This will take some seconds. Let's go now to search for a Heroku CLI. In the download, okay, so Heroku CLI, let me see, let's click at this. devcenter.heroku.com, and let's search down here, and here is the installation. Okay, for a Mac OS, you don't have actually installer. For Windows, you should be very easy to set it up. Okay, so for a Windows, you should have only these installers here. So choose your version and install it. In the case, as I can see here, let me take a look on the Heroku. Or actually, you can also install Heroku with an npm command. You can just npm install -g Heroku, but it's not really strongly recommended. But that's also one of the options they are mentioning here. It's not recommended because this installation method doesn't auto-update. Okay, so if you're not planning to use the Heroku later, you can just install it like this. If you're on a macOS, it'll be more complicated for you guys. You need to use this brew command. Okay, so if you're on a macOS, you need to copy this and you need to place it into your terminals. For this, you need to have an installed homebrew. So if you don't have a homebrew, you can just go home, brew, install. This will navigate you to homebrew. All right, and you just copy this command here. Let me find it here, this first one here. You can just copy here, click here on this icon. All right, copy it, go to your terminal. Okay, open here, new tab, and paste it here. Okay, this will install homebrew. And then if you want to continue with the installation of the Heroku CLI, you will just copy then this command after the homebrew is installed, and that should be pretty straightforward for you. The Windows user has it much simpler. Or you can also decide to go. With this command here. Or you can use this. Yeah, you have a couple of options, guys. I don't want to force you to which option you want. You can also just go with here. Okay, I'll just install this, for example. Important is to get your Heroku CLI installed. Okay, so I'm going with the npm command in this case. So I can show it to you in simplified way, and I don't need to explain the much stuff. Okay, so this installing, Heroku CLI is installing now. I will go to back to my browser because also Git CLI should be installed already. So I will go click on the Git CLI and I will install. I will open this package file. Okay. And I'll just continue installations. That's the only thing you need to do. Continue installations, provide your password if you are prompt to, and wait until it is installed. So right now I'm installing Git CLI and Heroku CLI. All right, guys. So that's Git was installed. Perfect. I will remove it, and now I will just wait for Heroku, and that's gonna be it. Okay. So a couple more seconds. While we are here, you can go to your terminal here. You can shut down your server, and you can verify that you have a Git installed. So when you want to verify that you have a Git install, you should be able to write your Git. If you are able to write your Git and you have this, it's okay. Or you can, for example, search here for git -- version, and this should get you your version you have just currently installed. Okay, so git -- version. And here you have a Heroku. So now you have a Heroku. You should be able to write here Heroku -- version. I guess there is also same command. Yes, and here is a Heroku version you just installed. Okay, so if you are able to get both of the commands, you are on the good way. And now we can register for a GitHub, and we can register for Heroku. So go ahead, open your browsers, and first we'll go to the heroku.com. Heroku.com. The sign up process is very simple. Go ahead, just click here for sign up for free. There is no really big deal here. I just ask you for a few details. Heroku is for free. You don't need to provide any credit cards, anything. You just register here, provide your email, get a confirmation email, and then log in. Okay, so guys, register please, and when you're registered, let's continue with the video. Okay, so I suppose you're registered by this time. I will provide here my details. Okay, so it's a dashboard. Okay, here some warnings. I forgot about my applications, my old ones. Don't worry about this. Maybe it's empty for you. Maybe you already worked with the Heroku and you have here some projects. So then that's good for you. Okay, what we want to generally just do here, we want to click here on a new, and you want to create a new application. Click here, create new app, and choose please your name and the region. You can just choose from a Europe and United States, choose whatever is closer to you, and choose here for application name. So let's write here Exchangarion or something. Exchangario. Yeah, it's available. So if it's available for you, just make up your own name, whatever you want here, and create app. Okay, and when this is done, guys, you have already application on Heroku, and you can access it under the Heroku domain. So when I will click here, open up, this will access my application on Heroku, but you will see it's pretty empty, and there is nothing here yet. And under this domain, Exchangarion.herokuapp.com will be our application, our Vue JS application where we are going to deploy. We just need to provide a source code to this Exchangarion.herokuapp.com, and this will be running our development server, not development server, but this will be running our production server, which will be serving us this index HTML file and the JavaScript files I showed you before. Also, when you will notice here, we need to do here a couple of things before deployment. We need to set up here our environment variables. We have on our local file, and also in a deploy tab here, when you will go to deploy, we just need to follow these steps. But guys, this will handle in the next lecture. So far, guys, what you should have a Git installed. You should have a Heroku CLI installed. All right, Heroku installed, and you should be registered for the Heroku, and you should have here your application running. In the next lecture, we'll continue. We'll initialize GitHub. We'll push our application to GitHub repository, and then maybe we'll also deploy. So I hope to see you guys in the next one. Cheers. In the last lecture, we have initialized Heroku, we have installed Heroku CLI and Git CLI. Let's continue this lecture, and let's set up here a GitHub repository. When you will go to your Heroku deploy tab, you will scroll down here. You can see the steps you need to follow. In order to push your application to Heroku, you need to first log into Heroku through your terminal. Then you need to navigate to your project. You need to write a git init. All right, it's to initialize your Git folder in your current application. And then you need to link your local project with your remote project, which will be this one here. And you need to push your code there. So you need to write a git add, git commit, and you need to push your code to the Heroku. Okay, we'll go step by step. First, actually, I told you in the last lecture that you can create your GitHub repository. That's actually not necessary for this project. You can create it, but you don't really need it, because in order to push to Heroku, you don't need GitHub repository. If you want to have GitHub repository, guys, I will show you how to create this. So open here, new tab, and let's search here for github.com. github.com. In a github.com, we will create our accounts. Again, as with the Heroku, it's very, very simple. Just click here, sign up. It's a very simple process. Sign it up here. It will take just a few seconds. And whenever you are signed up, continue with the sign in, please. Okay, so stop the video, register if you are not, and continue video when you are registered. I'll go with the sign in straight away. Okay, I'll provide here my details and we'll continue. Okay, I'm getting verified and I will be getting logged in very shortly, and here will be my dashboard of my GitHub repository. Okay, having a couple of projects already, so if you don't have here anything, no worries. What's the purpose of a GitHub is just simply provide you the remote folder structure, which are the repositories in which you can store your projects, and other developers can collaborate with you on this project, so you can share your code through the GitHub repository. There is also version control, so you can check your code against your old code, and so on. So if you're not familiar with the GitHub, no worry, it's pretty straightforward. So what we want to do here, we would like to create our new GitHub repository. So click here in new, and please create here your GitHub repository. You can call it as you want. All right. So generally, it should represent your project. It should represent your current local folder, what you have created. I will call it Extenjario. All right, like this. I think it's available. I don't know. I think it is available. It doesn't say anything. You can create here public. In the private, you need to have a pro account, so you need to have you need to pay for the account. So go with the public, okay? And okay, this name is not available, so we'll call it Extenjario Production. Okay. Okay, so choose your name so it's available, please. And when this is done, guys, you can create a repository. So click here, just create a repository. As I told you, the repository here online in the github.com will be a representation of your local repository. Okay, this will be a representation of all of your files you have here. They will be also here. But we don't want to have all of the files here, what we have also in a GitHub repository, because what files we don't need? For example, we don't need to push here to get up to our remote repository. We don't need to push this folder, because this folder is generated whenever we will run npm run build. So we don't need this file. We don't need this. We don't need node modules as well, because node modules are initialized whenever we are running npm installed. So every developer that will get our code from GitHub repository can install them themselves. Okay, we don't need also env local, because we don't want to share to anybody what we have here, because when we will push our code to our GitHub repository, the code will be also here, and this environment local files holding our environment variables, which we maybe don't want to share. Okay, so some of the files we don't need. And in order to push your code to the remote repository, you need to link your local repository with your remote one. You will do it with the initialization of a command git init. So go to your folder of your project and let's run here git init. That's it. Okay, you can see initialized empty git repository. And when you will go now to code here, you can see these 3 files I showed you. They are grayed out, so they will be not pushed to the GitHub repository. Now we can continue here, and we can continue with a command to git commit changes. First, we need to git add changes and commit changes. We need to link here a branch, and then we need to link our local GitHub git repository with our local one, our local project with the remote one. So let's go one by one. First, in your terminal, you can write here git space add space comma, like this. Now when you will write git space status, this should show you all of the files and the folders you are going to push to GitHub repository. They should be green. Okay, now you will clear it out. And now we will say the git space commit -m for the message and quotation signs like this. This you say that you are committing that these files you want to push to GitHub repository, and you will write here what changes you have done in your in this particular commit. Because later you can create more commits and you can push them again to GitHub repository. So you would like to have some description of the commit you are making, so you know what changes you have done in some specific commits. So let's write here, for example, git commit -m, and you will write here, let's say finalize application. Okay, it doesn't really says much, but okay, we just finalize application and press enter, and you will see this. Perfect. Now we have committed all of the changes, but we still don't have information in which remote repository we are going to push here. Okay, so for this we need to copy this command git remote add, all right, like this. Now when you will paste it here, and you will write here git space remote -v, you will see you're linking your local project to your remote one, exchangeario-prod.git. That's your remote project. Clear it out again. Now you're going with the command here, git branch -m main. Actually, we'll be creating master branch. Okay, so let's go here. Let's go back to terminal, and here you will write git branch -m master branch. This will create a master branch of your code. You can have multiple branches, but I don't want to talk about it really. That's for GitHub explanations. You're just creating the master branch. That's you need to know. Go back here, and now you're pushing your code to the master branch, so you need to change the main for master. So copy this, paste it here, and I'll change your master. Okay, and this will push your local code into GitHub repository, and you can preview it when this is done. You can go back to your browsers, you can refresh here, and you will see that here is your representation of your project. That's the project as we have finished it up. Okay, and now the benefit of this is that the developers from around the world can take a look on your GitHub repository, they can collaborate with you, they can even download your code. That's a very great thing about the GitHub. You can just simply download the code. You can see, for example, download zip file of your code, or they can clone it with this command here, git clone. And they can get a representation of your project into their local project. They can install themselves your dependencies with the command npm install, and they can work with you together. And they can also push the code remotely to the GitHub repository if they have permissions for it, okay? So this is a representation of our local file here. And that's what we want to push to Heroku. But this we'll be doing in the next lecture, guys. So that's your remote project. Very good job, guys. We've set it up. We can continue with this in the next lecture. See you there. Cheers. And hello, welcome back. In the last lecture, we have set up our GitHub repository. In this lecture, we'll deploy our applications to Heroku. All right, let's start. Let's go to our Heroku.deploy tab, and let's copy the command Heroku login. Copy it, go to your terminal. In your project directory, let's paste it, and let's press enter. This will prompt you to press any key. So let's press any key on your keyboard, and this should open your browsers, and it should open the Heroku there. Okay, and you can just simply click here, login. And this will log in you in also in your terminal. Okay, my session has expired, so I need to log in again. Okay, so just let me provide here details, and I will log in. Okay, I have been verified, so now I'm logged in, and also you should see that you're logged in your terminal. As you can see, I'm logged in as info@einco.com. Perfect, great. Now we can get back here, and we already initialized these steps, right, guys? We have already initialized the Git, so these steps we don't need to do Git init and so on. We just need to provide here Heroku Git remote exchangeario. Okay, so let's copy this command you have here. Let's go to your terminal and paste it. Okay, now you are linking your local project with the Heroku one. So now when you will write here git remote -v, you should see here you have here links to your GitHub project, and here is to the Heroku project. Okay, now I can clear it out. I can go back to browser, and now we already added all of the files. We already committed all of the files, so we don't need to repeat these ones because we have done it in the last lecture. We just need to write here git push Heroku master. But let's wait with this. Don't go there yet. Before we'll push our code, we'll go into the new tab here, into the settings, and we'll set up our environment variables. Okay, let's click here, reveal config variables, and let's set it up here. Remember, you are not pushing your env.local variables into your GitHub repository, so you are not pushing them also to Heroku. This means you need to define them in environment variables of Heroku in order for your database to be set up. So please, now very carefully, copy the key, view up API key, let's paste it here, and let's paste here also value. And go one by one. Okay, so copy this one back here, and let's paste it here. Okay, when you have it, click here add. It will add the environment variable. Now go with the second one, domain. Or I'll go faster now, okay? So make sure you're copying the entire value, no mistakes here, paste it here. Also double check it, triple check it. This is very important part. You need to copy them as you have them. Okay, no empty spaces, nothing, just the actual values. Storage bucket, I'll copy the storage bucket value. Okay, add this here. Now the key, view up sender ID, and here. Add this and view up ID, just this value here. Okay, and the value here. Perfect. I will paste it here, and that's done. Please verify your values, and now we can continue with the deployment. So back to the deploy tab. Okay, and yeah, we can git push Heroku master, and that's gonna be it. Okay, paste it here, and now the moment of truth. We'll see if everything will be run successfully. So we should see here some building processes. So then what will happen when we'll push our code to Heroku? Basically, we're pushing all of our local files there. As we are not pushing all the modules and all these files, they has to be installed on the Heroku. So you can see all of our folder structure will be installed on the Heroku, dependencies and node modules and so on. After this will be installed, this will also create your build, because Heroku will recognize your package.json file and it will be running this command build after everything will be done. So it will create a dist folder in the Heroku folder, and then it will be running also your development server. So it will not development, I'm always saying development, but it will be running your production server. So Heroku, after it's built, that will be running this remotely on the Heroku npm start, which will start your production server, and it will be serving your production files from the dist folder. You will see Heroku will do all of these steps. So dependency has been installed, and you can see Heroku is building your application. So it's running npm run build, and we'll create these JavaScript files and CSS files as we done locally. Now it's happening locally. Now it's happening remotely on the Heroku server. Okay, we'll wait until it's built. It should take just a few seconds until your files are built. Okay, you can see the same things. The JavaScript files, CSS files has been built. Okay, and now build succeeded, and I will be running npm start command to start it up. Okay, also it's compressing the files to have a smaller size. That's what's done for you. Okay, launching and deployed to Heroku. Okay, a few more seconds, guys, and this will be done, and your applications will be running on Heroku, and it's done. Okay, so that's it, guys. Let's go to browsers here. Let's run here. Let's click here, open up, and you should see here your applications running remotely. If you don't see it yet, be patient. It can take some time to get all the changes. Maybe you need to refresh a couple of times, or you need to wait a couple of minutes, but it should be done, and you can see this is my remote applications now on the under actual domain available on the internet, and anybody on the internet can access it now. You can log in and so on, but we'll be testing this in the next lecture, guys. So far it's working, right? So we can log in, do all the changes. All right, and everything is just great. All right, guys, that's gonna be it from this lecture. We'll continue in the next one. We will finalize the course. I will be testing our applications here on the Heroku. So guys, I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers.
This video is over. Go to starfreelance.eu to download these videos, materials, and sources. Watch more videos to get premium videos and ebooks. We'll be a Star Freelancer.